I want to know if this is ever coming down.
No.
I almost asked them when I met them, do you guys not, which one of you has bad breath?
I wonder if they're just too lazy. So did you get power back?
Got it back yesterday. Of course, he put a generator in. We got power 2 hours later. And he hooked it up to my panel. He took the panel off and hooked it up. So, all right, when this comes off, you got to unscrew this, unscrew these two, turn everything off, or turn everything off, unscrew this, and put these in, and then turn it on this way. Okay. I did it, but I didn't put the cover back on because I want him to look at one thing before I'm guessing he'll be coming over after the show today because he works on Alico. He's staying, his daughter lives in the Cape. It's her second home. They live in Indianapolis. They got a winter home in the Cape, so he's vacation home, so he's staying there.
I'm surprised I made it.
Doesn't have power, but he did the same thing there.
Gotcha.
I tell you what, I don't like everything he does, but Ron has taken his press conference yesterday. He was awesome.
Was he?
Because the people are starting. He's like, he goes, we're taking the lead on this. We're going to have a bridge done in Pine Island in a week. We're paying for it. It's done. I'm telling you right now, we'll have a temporary. And he said the thing with Sandoval yesterday I thought was interesting. He said, he goes, we can do ferries. He goes, I think we can, I believe from what that we can build a temporary bridge. By the time we get the ferries done, we can have a temporary thing up here. He goes, I don't know, what we have to do for ferries. I know they once had them, but let's get a bridge so people can get on here. But I guess, and again, who knows how it works, but I think it's the whole national money, and the story's coming out that he didn't support Sandy, and he's like, he had this one guy up there who's about the energy. He goes, all you co-ops out there, just send the bills to us. We'll pay them. We'll figure out the paperwork on the back end. No, we'll see. But they got those insurance villages already opened. He got a bunch of those Starlink internet access that Musk created. He won hey, that's a presser you want to win. But it's also just raw meat to the lions. He's down here wherever. He can't do any wrong.
Interesting how he handles today.
Fascinated by it.
Interesting to see how the president handles it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Do we know when Biden's supposed to get here?
It's tough to be the bigger man.
Don't know. We've got him booked for 9:30. He's calling in on the hotline.
He is.
Yeah. Right? You got Biden for 9:30, right?
Yep, 9:35.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You gonna turn our mics off, or are you gonna just leave these on? All these microphones are on.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Happy hump day. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. First time in nearly 2 weeks. The two of us sit side by side, as it's great to be back in the Sunshine State despite everything that has happened.
Yeah, I'm a little confused this morning. I've been kind of facing another way. I gotta readjust here.
I understand. It's just to your right. All right, just to your right. Everything's been to your left.
It has.
All right, for the last seemingly 12 days. I left the state on Friday, September 23rd. A few things have happened since, unfortunately.
Yes, they have.
So great to be back, and looking to stay for a while. Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com.
By a while, he means 2 days.
Well, no, I mean, part of the show, in state, and besides, we've got a primetime game for CBS this week, so I'm actually going to wait till Saturday morning to travel.
Okay, there you go.
So it
Risking it.
Right. It'll be 3 days, not 2. So, listen, I've got our poll question. All right. Right out of the chute.
Wow.
I've got our poll question. Since this celebration has become a debate over the last couple weeks. So why don't we just ask whether or not people think that Judge had a record last night? Is it a record or no? He needs
the
12
seventh most
today.
home runs ever hit in a season.
Correct. But it's the most ever hit by someone in the American League. All right. Do you consider that a record? Yes or no?
Oh, sure. I consider it an American League record, but I don't put any. I mean, they have American League and National League leaders in this. I do this today was a day one thing, and when you research it, this is a National League record. This is an American League record.
But that was when we didn't have interleague.
Right. So in the grand scheme of things, no.
Okay, well, I just think that should be the poll question. All right, now that Judge has hit his 62nd home run, all right, what do you think of it? A, it's a record. All right. B, he needs 12 more today to set a record. That's all.
He needs 12 more today to set a record.
Okay. So in the grand scheme of things, you don't consider it a record.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's what I'm asking.
But I also understand New York being what it is, the Yankees being what they are, that for the Yankees, it's a record. I get their announcers getting all excited about it. I think it's a big deal. I've thought this has been a really fun season.
And it has.
And the accomplishments are incredible.
Right.
And I wish we would just focus on his accomplishments instead of trying to play this. Is it the all-time record because Bonds was a steroid junkie? Stop it.
Well, I mean, the Maris family basically came out last night and said that they consider this to be the record.
Well, that's fantastic.
Just saying.
That's their prerogative that they can come out and say that.
Well,
I don't.
And to me, to be brutally honest, that's what this is about to me. I think people are hiding behind, and when I say people, I mean the national media, hiding behind the American League. Okay? I mean, can we just say what it is? Okay, we think this is the first guy clean to hit more than Roger Maris did in 1961. Can we just say that American League might as well be translated to clean, steroid free? That's what American League translates to, steroid free. I mean, that's really what people were celebrating and hoping that he would do in these last 2 weeks.
Then why do it under the veil of American League?
Well, exactly. Because that's all they got. And quite frankly,
But that's not all they have.
well,
if
they don't have the guts. Okay. And think about what it would do. All right. Once again, the baseball record book is altered. It was altered by the steroid era. And it is difficult to imagine that unless you are cheating, that you are going to challenge what McGwire and Bonds did. I mean, 70 and 73 home runs. My goodness.
It was remarkable.
Right.
I was one of those people that enjoyed it while it was happening. So I cannot sit here and get up on my high horse and tell everybody how awful it is that we don't have a proper record.
And I'm not asking you to. Okay. But I believe that the national media / New York media is hiding behind the fact that American League translates to steroid free. I mean, that's basically what people were celebrating here. I mean, that's what the Maris family came out last night and said in no uncertain terms. I mean, that's what American League translates to in 2022, steroid free. And so, and therefore, do you consider it a record? I'll give you an example. It's amazing to me that this record still stands. Okay, Eric Dickerson still has the single season rushing record in the NFL, 2,105 yards. And he did it in 1984. Well, they had a 16-game season then. And obviously, he broke O.J. Simpson's record, who had rushed for 2,003 yards in a 14-game season. We didn't put an asterisk next to Dickerson. He had 2 more games, gained 102 more yards. He's the record. Still is the record. Now we're at 17 games. I got to think at some point in the next 10 years, somebody's going to break it. Like, I thought Derrick Henry was going to break it last year until he got hurt. All right. Is anybody not going to consider that the record?
Nobody will be bothered by that.
No. When somebody in 17 games rushes for 1 more yard than Eric Dickerson did nearly 40 years ago, they're going to go, oh, wow, that's a single season rushing record.
So your correlation is?
Well, just that even as time goes on and the situation changes, whether it's games played or whether it's games altered by substances. Okay. I mean, the record is 73. It's unfortunate. I really think that it would have been nice to have a commissioner with some onions, quite frankly, to rewrite baseball's record book. Okay. For this reason, what have we always argued about Pete Rose? He should be in the Hall of Fame. And on his plaque, on the bottom, it should be, was, 1990 or whatever, 89, whatever it was, banned for life for betting on baseball, which he later admitted to. You and I have always believed of course he should be in the Hall of Fame. Right. But that's his entire baseball resume. You put it on the plaque at the bottom. Hey, man, we banned him. He did the one thing we said you can't do. There's a one rule posted in all the damn clubhouses. Can't do it. And he was banned for life. He's still the hit king. All right. I mean, in theory, Rob Manfred could have said, all right, yeah, I feel pretty comfortable putting asterisks next to these guys' numbers.
I've never had a thought of the asterisk next to numbers. They hit them. Steroids were widespread. We don't know how many pitchers were doing them. And the fact of the matter is 73 balls went over the fence.
Yes.
We can't stop the actual game from being played.
You mean we can't NCAA it and take the wins away?
We can't. We're going to take the home runs away, but not certain teams' wins. No. And to your point, David, Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. And if you want to put on his plaque, was accused of steroids, go right ahead.
Suspected of steroid use.
because they can do whatever they want. It's their Hall of Fame.
It's a museum, right? But I just think that should be the poll question. All right, now that he's finally done it, do you consider it a record?
Fair enough. I'll get to typing.
Well, you got an hour. I mean, we don't normally, post these suckers till 7-ish.
I got it. But as you and I have talked before, the idea is to really have it up in the second segment.
I mean,
so I like it. I'm fired up.
I mean, that's what a well-oiled machine does. That's a show that's on top of things. That's what they do. I mean, that's not us.
I'd like it to be us.
Well,
I'm aspiring for it to be us.
It's a goal. It's a goal. We're nearing our first anniversary. Maybe that'll be our wish for year 2. Of course, for the longest time, our wish was just to have a year 2. So,
still is.
Miller and Moulton. A week from tomorrow, by the way. That's there you go. It was the 13th. That's when we started. It was a Wednesday. That's another, that says us, by the way. Like the Major League Baseball season ending on a Wednesday. We started on a Wednesday.
Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, I got to watching a little bit of Marlins. I watched one good inning last night. Thought your Braves were going to choke or thought the Braves were going to choke for you last night.
Would have been something if they had lost and they'd be tied. Okay, Braves would own the tiebreaker, but they would have had to have won today in theory.
Right.
I
mean, they had bases loaded in the 8th, and I'm like, oh boy, one base hit here is going to make this really interesting tomorrow.
Yeah, really well. Otherwise, today would have had some meaning in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Today is 0, zip, zilch, nada. I mean, some individual stuff. That's it. Batting title in the American and National Leagues, and that's pretty much it.
And I don't know. I don't think Judge plays today.
I don't think so either.
So the batting title's done.
Yeah, unless Arise is going to go like 0 for 5.
Maybe 0 for 6. I mean, he's up by 4 points.
Right, 315 to 311. So not sure what it would take. And usually in these situations, what happens is like the Twins will look to see if Judge is in the lineup. And if he's in the lineup, then they have a decision to make as to whether or not they should play the guy who's 4 points ahead. But if Judge is not in the lineup, then you just keep him out and you congratulate him on his batting title. 315 winning a batting title, by the way.
Batting average doesn't matter anymore.
No, nobody's trying. That's low. That is low. Miller and Moulton. So we'll get the poll question up there. We got the Clutch Vodka play of the day, but Elliott all coming up. David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, sandboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. FLGolfCarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, FLGolfCarts.com. FLGolfCarts.com. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Oh, I'll leave that. I'm fine.
Oh, no, just get your desk all situated.
Somebody sent us this text. It's got a picture of Giselle. It says it all started when we moved to Florida. It's like Tom became a different person the second we crossed the state lines. His smooth olive skin turned into chapped, stinging red leather. He started cutting off the sleeves of his shirts. He goes grocery shopping shirtless now. He applied a Salt Life sticker to our Land Rover. Salt Life, what does that even mean? I've asked so many people, but no one even knows. But everyone insists they're living it. I told Tom, it's Florida, your supermodel wife. He looked at me, took off his shirt, and went to go buy something called a pub sub. He doesn't even eat bread. Giselle on Florida changing Tom Brady.
That's nice. I think we should read that.
How about AB throwing an Instagram picture of him and Giselle out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. They need to take his phone away.
No, they don't.
My God, for the rest of time, it's going to be Tom Brady wanted one more season, which costed him his marriage.
To most baseball insiders.
Oh, there's the bases loaded with 2 outs that Mark was talking about.
Yep.
Oh, dang. I really like how, with the whole Aaron Judge thing, I like how Seth put it. Seth Everett. It's an AFC record.
Don't disagree.
I mean, you can't disagree.
Oh.
30 seconds.
So read
It's crazy how Barry Bonds doesn't have 3,000 hits.
It's funny.
It is. And since page 6 says they both hired divorce lawyers, it's
10 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. First hump day of October, Mark. You know, I'm big on that sort of thing. Sorry. It's what happens. You know, you said you wanted me back, you know, in studio. I mean, if you want, beginning tomorrow, you know, we could do the whole split screen thing on Twitch if you want.
just because you like hump day? I don't think I'm going to have that brash of a decision over you getting excited about the first hump day in October.
So we don't normally go here, but you and I are both big fans of the New York Post, and they have, for weeks now, they have been very interested in a certain marriage.
And now what's looking to be the end of a certain marriage?
Well, this could be posturing, though. It could be.
Could be.
Could be.
But according to the Post, Tom and Giselle have hired divorce lawyers.
They also reported that he's nursing some sort of rotator cuff injury.
Who cares? Why is that even important?
Can I ask you a somewhat serious question?
I'll try.
All right. We'll make it a hypothetical.
Okay.
But let's just say that, because it sounds like, from what, you know, the fine journalists at the New York Post have been reporting for weeks, that, you know, if he had stayed retired, they probably wouldn't be hiring divorce attorneys.
Correct.
That this then exacerbated other things that were going on, led to arguing, this, that, and the other thing. So if you were given, and he was apparently not given an ultimatum. He had agreed he was going to retire at the end of last year. He went back on his word.
Yes,
He
did.
said, you know, I still got the itch.
He did. He cheated on her with football.
Yes, he did. With Leonard Fournette. With playoff
plenty.
right? Although I got to be honest with you. If I'm going to cheat on Giselle, Mike Evans is a pretty good, all right. I mean, it's a Hall of Fame wide receiver.
He was kind of like Tiger. He had 9-10 of them. He had Evans. He had a Godwin.
Right.
He had a.
I mean, you know, heck, he even picked up the phone and called in Cole Beasley.
Right.
So
She was fine with Gronk.
She was. Okay, but if he's retiring,
You're retiring.
then you're retiring. Right. So how do you think that you would handle an ultimatum in which you know that if you go back on it, I mean, it could cost you your marriage?
I'll try to put this into something. I will literally try to put this into something that if I were given this ultimatum.
Okay.
Because the one thing that I have in my life that I have that my wife doesn't really care about, that I have, is my golf membership.
Okay.
Well, and if the wife came home today and said it's either the golf membership or me,
Right.
the golf membership would be done that minute.
Oh, I would hope so.
Well, I'm trying, but his football, I mean, that's my hobby that
Right.
I enjoy the most. That's the thing that I mean, she wouldn't tell me to quit my job. She might tell me to get a better one where I actually make a decent living.
I mean, you know, probably
Hint, hint, sponsors needed.
She's been telling you that for 5 years. Well, unfortunately, the problem is you hitch your wagon to me. That's your problem.
So that's, I'm trying to think of an actual, because you can't compare yourself to a supermodel and the GOAT. I mean, you just
Right.
make a mess of things. But I wouldn't do that. I couldn't imagine doing that. But then again, I'm not the best quarterback that's ever played the game.
Right.
We got this text.
Okay.
Text lines are open. 21,000 is the number. If you never text before, FSN radio is the keyword.
And you may want to text after you read this text, if it's the one that you read to me earlier.
It is. Little picture of Giselle with this quote next to it. This all started when we moved to Florida. It's like Tom became a different person the second we crossed the state lines. His smooth olive skin turned into a chapped, stinging red leather. He started cutting off the sleeves of all of his shirts. He goes grocery shopping shirtless now. He applied a Salt Life sticker to our Land Rover. Salt Life, what does that even mean? I've asked so many people. No one actually knows, but everyone insists they're living it. I told Tom, it's Florida or your supermodel wife. And he looked at me, took off his shirt, and went to go buy something called a pub sub. He doesn't even eat bread. That's Giselle on Florida changing Tom Brady. That's spectacular.
Well done. Nice effort there. So now I'll say this, though. There have been many an athlete that have had great seasons while going through a divorce, that the field actually is their getaway. It's a place, the one place that, makes them happy during the course of these hard times. So, for Bucs fans worried that this may affect him on the field, I mean,
no, it's not going to affect him the same way having the new center and two guards is really seeming to affect him.
Right. That's, and the fact that they rushed the ball 6 times last week because they were down 21-3 in the first quarter. I mean, that would affect him more. But yes, we're paying close attention. Meghan and Harry pushed to the side for Tom and Giselle.
Well, a true royal couple.
They were never given titles, okay? Not official titles, but many have considered them both the GOAT at what it is that they did.
I mean, a country brought her out.
Yes.
Basically to walk the red carpet.
Right. This is
at the opening ceremonies of the Olympic Games.
If you want to know who we are,
this is who we are.
We're her. Enjoy. Correct. Mm-hmm. Yep. And she walked off stage, looked at Tom and said, "You think the Super Bowl's big, please." Miller and Moulton. But yeah, I mean, I have to admit, how do you divvy that up? And does this mean now he's going to have to do the Fox thing? Because, I've always contended I did not think he's going to do any broadcasting. That was a saving face deal at both sides, and that Fox is basically just going to bring him in to shake hands and kiss babies at big functions. But he did give an interview a couple of weeks ago in which he referenced my next career. All right. And he said my broadcasting career. And I was like, wow. Okay.
I will say if he does go into it, he doesn't have that apprehension of not being able to talk badly about players because he's going to be 60.
Is he older than Romo? Yet still playing?
Yeah.
I think he is. I mean, Romo's last year was 2016, but I think Tony was like mid.
Yeah, Romo's 42.
Okay, so Brady's got him by 3 years. That's funny. Miller and Moulton. I do have a Cowboys question for you a little bit later in the show. All right, in which Romo will come up in the scenario.
All right, looking forward to that.
Yeah. But Elliott, in about an hour, we still have to ask him the damn Billy Napier analytics question.
I'm afraid Bud's going to be on the side of analytics.
He is. He is. We're going to go at each other and say, when is it you have analytics and when is it you open your damn eyes?
Take your eyes off of the playbook and start looking at the game.
But next is the starting five, Miller and Moulton. Thanks for being with us, Florida Sports Network.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K. Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Was it some guy with the Padres or whatever? He threw 6 no-hit innings. They took him out.
What time does Biden get here today? Do you know?
I don't know. What's her face thought 11. That's what I was worried about. All right. I hope they'll just let us go in, get the car, get out.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be quite the parking bill. Adam, I have a feeling that Giselle's going to want that. Apparently, they have a little bungalow in Costa Rica. That's her favorite place.
Mac, then thank God I'm not a baseball insider. Because when the Triple Crown's not batting average, RBI, and home run, I'm not really interested. If you want to give me OPS and slugging percentage and whatever else you want to put in there, knock yourself out. And Box there on YouTube, as I said, thank you for listening. We appreciate it.
10 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Bud Elliott will join us 1 hour from now here on Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com, as we get over the hump this week. Been a long week.
Really has.
Been a long, eventful week. Lots of long weeks ahead, unfortunately. Miller and Moulton. Let's get to this.
The starting five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the starting 5 on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Well, he did it. Finally, Aaron Judge hit number 62 in the second game of a doubleheader between the Yankees and the Texas Rangers. The 62 homers, the most by anyone in American League history. 7th most homers all time in a season. Bonds hit 73, McGuire hit 70, Sosa with 66, the same season that McGuire hit 70. McGuire the very next year followed up 70 with 65. Sosa in 2 of the next 3 years hit 64 and 63. Aaron Judge, 7th all time. But the American League record.
Right, and the Yankee record.
With 62. Does anybody think he's going to play today?
I don't.
Against Texas?
No.
Final
Guy needs a day off.
And final day of the baseball regular season, although the Yankees are going to get a first-round bye.
Right.
You know, they're not going to play till Tuesday of next week.
He may want to play just for that reason.
I'm wondering, do you say, hey, DH me? I'm 4 points back in the batting race. And if I get a hit, my first at bat, keep me in the game. And we'll just keep doing this till I make an out. Because I probably got to go 4 for 4, 5 for 5 today to win the batting title.
Well, and I think they'd pitch to him today. And that's what I said yesterday. You know, I thought if he would have gotten this record a little more quickly, that he would have had a really good shot at the batting title because he would have seen more pitches.
I'll give Texas pitchers credit. They went after him this week. They went after him Monday. They went after him in the first game. He went 1 for 5. I mean, he didn't have any walks. They went after him. You know, the American League East teams he faced at home.
Not so much.
Not so much. Yankees and Texas split the twin bill for whatever it's worth. Judge is hitting .311 on the season, just second in the American League. And leads the league in homers and RBIs. But a rise of the Twins is hitting .315. And so we'll see if Judge tries to win the Triple Crown, which Cabrera pulled off 10 years ago. But as we found out, Mark, in our Twitch chat room, that, you know, there are many in baseball that they don't even consider batting average anymore. Like Mac in our Twitch chat room, to most baseball insiders, the real Triple Crown Judge has already won. Okay, it replaces batting average with on-base percentage. And his on-base percentage is 20 points ahead of anyone else in the majors this year and 53 points better than Arise.
And that'll get him an MVP. And that's, but can I just have the simple stats? I'm not a baseball insider. I'm a baseball outsider.
I'm not an insider either. Would love to be one, though.
Oh, I know.
Although I'd have to dress down.
And you'd have to do analytics a lot more.
Oh, well, in that case. Red Sox 6-0 over the Rays. You know, they've lost 11 of 15. Hell of a playoff push here by Tampa Bay. 4-11 in their last 2+ weeks. In all 11 losses, they've scored 3 runs or less. Yankees did this one time on the way to winning a World Series. I think it was 2000. They lost like 16 of 19 to end the year. Won like 87 games that year. People were like, well, this team's not going to do anything. They didn't. They just won the World Series. Seattle swept a doubleheader from Detroit, and that means the Mariners are the 5 seed. So in the American League, everyone's locked in. Tampa's the 6. They're going to play Cleveland, who beat KC yesterday 5-3. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if necessary, in Cleveland, Rays and Guardians. And then 2 teams who came into the league together, I believe in 76, Toronto and Seattle. North of the border, best of 3. Winner plays Houston. National League, the Braves did it again. 5th straight year winning the National League East. They edged the Marlins 2-1. So even though the Mets swept the doubleheader for the Nats, the Braves won the East. Mets with the 4th best record in baseball. That's good for a wild card.
You going to be okay?
Who was the one when they were up 10.5 who said the Braves were the better team?
David, I got you. You did. But as it's been happening, the inflection in your voice sounds bothersome. That's all.
Not at all. What did I say late last week? You line up your 3 best pitchers. You need to go to their place and win 1 game. And if you can't do it, they're better. You tip your cap and you go, you're my daddy. And the Braves have been the Mets' daddy for 30 years. So there ain't nothing new here. Mets fan couldn't recite the years.
If I really pinned you down, do you hate the Braves?
No, not at all. I loved Chipper Jones. I really did. No. And I love, as a Mets fan, the only thing the Mets ever really had was pitching, and so I loved watching Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox. No, not at all.
All right. Just curious.
I hate the New York Islanders.
I
For
know
whatever
that.
reason.
Right.
For whatever reason. I don't even hate the Cowboys, the Eagles. Nope.
The New York Islanders.
No, the Islanders caused me a lot of pain. At Dynasty. That was tough. And especially
years, too. Very formidable years in your life.
Yeah, like 14 to 18 there. That's a killer of dreams. Yeah. I mean, more than Noreen Ziegler even. I mean,
ooh.
Yeah, I know. It was a rite of spring.
That's why I tried to get Potvin on the air so badly when we were over there.
I know. That would have been so great. You have no idea how much respect I have for you and your teams and what have you. You suck. Padres beat the Giants 6-2. San Diego's the 5 seed. They'll play the Mets in a 4-5 first-round matchup beginning Friday. One thing to keep in mind, Padres are going to start Darvish game 1, and he owns the Mets. Phillies, I don't want to say they mailed it in, hoping to be the 6 seed to play the Cardinals because the Mets beat them like a drum this year, but Houston beat them 10-0. They didn't have a hit till the 9th. Verlander pitched the first 5 shutout innings. He got his 18th win of the year. Mark, his ERA is 1.75. What's he, 39?
Yes.
Missed all of last year?
Right.
Tommy John? Right. It's the lowest ERA from a starting pitcher since Pedro in 2000, who did 1.74. Remarkable. Going to win another Cy Young. Albert Pujols with 2 more RBIs. He's 69 RBIs behind Hank Aaron. So Judge has to hit 12 homers today, and Pujols has to drive in 70.
Right.
But you could argue, did the pandemic cost Pujols being the all-time RBI guy? Probably would have been close. Only a 60-game season as opposed to 162. He's 69 RBI shy.
I don't think so.
Would have been, it'd be really
I
close
don't think
right
so.
now. I'll bet you'd be single digits.
I don't think so. That's 100. That's 70 RBIs in 100 games.
I understand.
He wasn't playing every day, lad. No.
Well, 2 years ago, though,
I don't think he would have.
I agree with you. I don't think he'd have it, but I think he'd be somewhere between 8 to 12 RBI shy. Not enough to play another year, probably, but second all time. Ahead of Ruth.
He's divorced, right?
Aaron.
He doesn't have a wife telling him he can't play another year if he wants to.
No, that's true. And hell, for that matter, maybe Brady's going to play till 50 now, for all we know. Milwaukee shut out Arizona. The Reds are trying to avoid a 100-loss season. The Cincinnati Reds, the oldest franchise in the National League, have lost 100 games in a season once. They're at 99. They beat the Cubs. They rallied last night to beat the Cubs 3-2. That's what's on the line today in Major League Baseball. The Reds trying to win their 63rd game so they can stay at 99 losses. That's it. White Sox beat the Twins 8-3. Arise went 1 for 4. He's hitting .315, 4 points better than Judge. All right, over-under in Oakland. Monday night, remember, they did nearly 7,000. I'll give you 7,500 over-under.
Under.
A's hosting the Angels with Trout, Ohtani, 81-89.
Wow.
Big crowd. Big. And the Rockies beat the Dodgers again 5-2. What's up with that? Bums.
Can't even win 112.
I know. Man, can't even finish. Now the best I can do is 60 games over 500.
Right.
What's that get you? By the way, Toronto and Baltimore got postponed. They're supposed to play a doubleheader today. Baltimore season's over today. Toronto's got the playoffs on Friday. They play 2 today? Man, hey, talk about mailing it in. And you want to talk about quick games.
Oh, these will be fast.
It could be sub 2 hours today for those games in Baltimore. NFL, Dak Prescott still listed as doubtful, but he is trying to play Sunday against the Rams. According to Jerry Jones, he did his weekly radio address. He said the grip is still an issue. The thumb is healing well, but grip is still an issue. And as of today, he can't play, but he really wants to play on Sunday.
I wish I could do it, Jarrah, because grip would sound fantastic in Jarrah's voice.
The Broncos signed Latavius Murray off the Saints practice squad. They need a running back. They lost their leading rusher to a season-ending knee injury. NHL, the league is going to debut virtual ads on the arena rink boards. And the Islanders signed Matt Barzal, 8 years, a little over $9 million per. By the way, the Phoenix Suns, they're out on the market. Yeah, the money people have come in and said the Brooklyn Nets at $2.35 billion right now, the richest sale in NBA history. And the money people came out yesterday and said, oh, yeah, the Suns are going to beat that. $2.35 billion. That's a Major League Baseball franchise, The Mets, I think, went for the most money at like 2.42, something like that. So we're now putting the Phoenix Suns up there with the New York Mets.
That is crazy to me.
I mean, also,
and do the franchises ever
games.
devalue? I mean, is there ever going to be a point in which we've reached the crest of what these franchises are worth? It doesn't seem that way. They just keep rising.
So $2.35 billion is not going to be enough to buy the Phoenix Suns. Did you see Shaq wants in? But then apparently Bezos and Shaq said, well, I'm not going to compete with Jeff. I mean, it's
smart move.
He said, if Jeff wants it, Jeff's going to get it. But if he wants a partner, he referred to him as Jeff. I'm guessing he has his number. And that was the starting five. Miller and Moulton on this Wednesday. Bud Elliott in about 45 minutes' time. We'll argue over analytics, and then we'll get to college football, I promise.
Oh, this is going to pain me if he is on the side of Napier with this.
Oh, he's on the side of Napier. Tweeted it out. He's on the side of Napier.
Really?
Yep. I know. We haven't yelled at each other in a while. I don't mean you and I. We yell at each other all the time. But no. I hope Bud's ready. The volume's going to be a little louder than normal at 7:38. Usually he we help him get into his day. We're like a cup of coffee for Bud. All right, we're going to be
we're Cuban coffee this morning. This is the high test stuff with some extra sugar in there because we're coming with high heat. There is no doubt.
So Bud Elliott in a little more than 40 minutes time. When we come back, could history be repeating itself? And should it? That is the question I will have for you, Mark.
A tease in the first hour of the show? What in the hell is going on? I can't wait for this. I have no idea what I'm going to be asked next. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com. Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K. Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Don't miss the Miami Dolphins watch party every Sunday at the Seaside Bar and Grill in Bonita Springs. Presented by Clutch Vodka. The Seaside will be serving Clutch Vodka drinks, including the awesome Bloody Mary bar at the Seaside. If you can't be at Hard Rock Stadium, come have fun at the best place in town to watch the Dolphins and enjoy the best, clean, crisp, smoothest vodka. That's Clutch with a K. Miami Dolphins parties every week at the Seaside Bar and Grill on Old 41 in Bonita Springs. Powered by Clutch Vodka.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Right.
Until I figure out whether or not I can transfer it or not. Thank you, Albar. It's nice to be off the road.
So how did you get here?
Casio
Oh,
called in a favor. So
what time did you land?
10-ish. He picked me up 10:30. I was here at 12:05. So I did this. I was asleep by 1. Set the alarm for 5:10. So I got the same amount of sleep as I did last night.
Did you fly direct from San Francisco to Lauderdale?
Through Dallas.
That sucks.
And I went San Jose. Because it's all closer to San Jose.
Yeah, San Jose's got a direct too, but I think Virgin flies direct from Lauderdale to San Jose.
Does it really?
Where the hell is he? It's...
$15 seconds. Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour number 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Thanks so much for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Bud Elliott to join us in a little more than 30 minutes time. And he will also join us live via Twitch. And so we talk with Bud for about 5 minutes off air, live on Twitch, however, before we bring him on air. It's another reason to follow us, subscribe to us, the Miller and Moulton Twitch.tv channel. All right. Here's my scenario for you.
Okay.
You're the Dallas Cowboys. You're going to Southern California this weekend to play the defending world champion Rams. If you go in there with Cooper Rush and you win your 4th game in a row, and Dak's ready to play the following week in Philadelphia, first place showdown with the Eagles, you going to play him?
I'm going to play him the moment he's ready to play.
Why?
He's the starting quarterback. He's the better quarterback. He's the guy that they believe gives them week in, week out the best chance to win games.
The other guy's 4-0. I mean, is there anything more important than that? I mean, isn't this how Dak got the job? I mean, Romo got hurt in the preseason. And so they put Dak in. And the thought the whole time was, Romo's come back. He'll be healthy. He'll get his job. Cowboys went on a run. I mean, Dak kind of in the Roethlisberger role, remember, as a rookie
Yes.
when Ben pretty much handed off to Bettis. I mean, Dak, for the most part, handed off to Zeke.
What did they go 12-4 that year?
13-3.
13-3. Okay.
They were either the 1 or the 2 seed.
Right.
And Aaron Rodgers went in, and Dak played really well in that playoff game, but Rodgers just won the shootout. And midway or 2/3 of the way through the season, Tony Romo had the heartfelt press conference in which he said, I understand how it works. It's Dak's team now. It's painful to say that, but, that's how it works.
I don't think 4 games would get that for Cooper Rush, and I would go back to Dak.
So you would go back to Dak for week 6 against the Eagles?
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Because of that defense, and
we're winning. We're winning. I'm not messing it up. I'm not messing it up. You're not 100% is what I'd say to Dak. You're not. I mean, you're healthy enough to play. I don't know what to tell you, Dak. We've won 4 in a row. And Dak would be furious. But I would look right at him and I'd say, well, listen, there's precedent, and there's precedent even with this franchise. I mean, most people are familiar with the dynastic run that the Cowboys had. 4 straight NFC title games, 3 trips to the Super Bowl. They won all 3 times. But the year before that, late in the season, Aikman gets hurt. Steve Berline jumps in, and they win 5 out of 6 to make the playoffs. They went, I think, 11-5. And Aikman was close to ready for the playoff game, wanted to play. And Jimmy's like, we're just, you know what? We got a good thing going. We're going to stay with Berline. And they went into Chicago and beat Ditka and the Bears. It was his last playoff game as head coach of the Bears.
really want to say grip like Jerry Jones right now. It's all I want. But if he has grip, then he's going to play.
But the next week, Troy was definitely ready to play. He's healthy. He's ready to go. And Jera said, Troy, it's a weird circumstance. You're our guy. You're definitely our guy, the whole deal. But, we're winning. And, I'm not messing up a winning streak. So they played Berline. He didn't play well. They didn't play well. Lions drilled them. Their only playoff win in the last 60-plus years. And afterwards, Jimmy had to literally trade Berline. I mean, he had to make sure that it was Troy's team, the whole deal, and what have you. But he went with the hot hand. And I'm just wondering, if they go in, and I know the Rams are not as good as they were last year right now, and they're damaged and all that. But is what means more than winning? And if you're winning with this guy, why do you not keep playing this guy?
What it does also, and for whatever reason, teams refuse to do this when their starting quarterback comes back for an injury because they're playing a style of football right now that they're relying on their defense. They're okay with a punt right now.
And they're okay trying to run the ball. Now, They didn't do it against Washington, believe it or not. They only had 60-something yards rushing. But, the week before, against the Giants, Pollard had over 100. They used Zeke down by the goal line, which had to shock fantasy owners.
And he scored.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
But, if they go on the road and beat the Rams with Cooper Rush, listen, I'm not saying Dak's worse than Cooper Rush.
I had to check it because I thought I was right on this. I just double checked. But yeah, they didn't run it at all well against Washington.
No.
But you know what they did do? They ran it.
Yes.
They kept running it.
Right.
They had 50% runs, 50% passes. I think at the end of the day, Cooper Rush had a couple of scrambles that turned into rushes. But at the end of the day, their run pass was very equal, which they don't normally do. They throw it far more.
Yes.
But this is what I don't understand. You can put Dak in and run the same damn game plan. This is what they don't do. Not just Dallas.
Right.
The number one comes in. He may not be 100% ready. And I think, if Dak doesn't play this week, he's going to be 100% ready for the Eagles.
Well, and the Eagles game Sunday Night Football also. It's going to be the national game. And he's going to want to play. Obviously, he's the starter. Give me my job back. Never mind the fact that the damn understudy's winning. Get me my job back. But yeah, your point is, that's what they did with Dak 6 years ago.
Right.
Romo threw the ball all the time. Now, there's a thought that Romo audibled out of a lot of runs to a lot of pass plays, that they were actually trying to run the ball more with Romo, and Romo wanted to throw it.
And just really quickly, what quarterback wouldn't?
Well, yeah. And, you got receivers, and, you're the quarterback. You're like, I want to chuck it.
I mean,
right.
I'm up at the line. I see a pass.
Right.
I think they all do.
But Dak, meanwhile, had to basically run the plays that were called, and they went through Zeke in 2016. And that's the best season that they've had in the last 15 years, in which they ran the ball first. And now with Cooper Rush, what are they doing? They're much more balanced. They're okay punting. Our defense is pretty good. It forces a couple turnovers a game. We'll throw them out there, see what happens. And it's winning. What the hell else matters? I mean, that's what I would look at Dak and go, you could tear this office up. You could yell at me as much as you want. I don't know what to tell you. I'm the head coach. I'm paid to win games. We're winning games right now. All right?
Well, now you entered a whole nother part of this equation that we haven't gotten into, whether or not this is a decision that the head coach actually can make himself.
Well, I'm sorry. There is no head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Jera.
And part of me thinks that Jera wants Dak to play.
Well, Jera 2 weeks ago said, I'd love to have a quarterback controversy on my hands.
I know he does.
Because you know what that means. If they go into Los Angeles and beat the Rams, there is no way I am taking him out of the lineup. 4-0? Seriously? All right. I mean.
But at 3-1, you would?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. He did his job. He's a good backup. Went 3-1.
So 3-1, he's just a good backup. If he's 4-0, we got to give him a shot in the fifth game if your quarterback's back.
I'm not saying if he goes 4-0, he's now Dak's the backup.
It's not what I asked you.
But I'm riding the hot hand. You're damn right I am. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to play the guy I think's better. And if I think Dak's better, I'm playing Dak when he's ready.
Okay. All right. And I like Dak. I pounded the table about drafting Dak. Okay. Pounded the table to pay him. The whole deal. Play Cooper Rush. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a fantasy guy. I don't care. I care about winning.
And that's the funny thing about this. I'm not a Dak guy, and here I am. I'm the one saying play Dak.
So
the hell.
Now I do think that this whole, they have this gaudy record under Cooper Rush, and somebody's going to view him, and somebody's going to sign him to be their starting quarterback. I think they could be buying in on Matt Flynn here, but I'm not willing to go that far.
But Cooper Rush just got himself paid. If he's a career backup now, he got it done with this week, little stretch.
I mean, what's the line in Bull Durham? You don't with a winning streak? I mean, that's basically, I might actually cue the scene up for Dak. Just say, don't know what to tell you. You're our guy. You're just not today.
All right. What do you think? 21,000 is our text line. Would you play Dak? Would you play Cooper Rush? Our poll question's up. Do you buy into Aaron Judge's record?
Or is it just the 7th most home runs in a season?
That Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter, FloridaSportsNetwork.com if you want to answer today's poll question. Bud Elliott coming up in about 25 minutes or so.
Teddy Bridgewater comes in and goes 4-0 as a starter. And the Dolphins are 7-1. Who are you starting?
Tua.
No, it's about winning. That's the only damn thing that matters. I'm riding the hot hand.
It's not like Tua wasn't winning before he got hurt.
I understand that, but he got hurt. Put the other guy in.
If he was the right guy, he would have been starting at the beginning of the season.
Not necessarily. There's a lot of dynamics at work here. We paid the guy the whole deal. He got first crack. But the season's underway. We're winning. I'm not messing with winning.
But once you lose, you'll pull them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Come on. It happens.
This isn't a hot goal 82-game season. This is 17 games. One game could mean everything.
It could, but why not ride quarterbacks like a hot goalie, especially when one got hurt?
If the two are equal, I'm fine with it. If one's clearly better, I'm playing the better guy.
Miller and Moulton. Bud Elliott in 25 minutes here on the Florida Sports Network.
Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K. Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
This morning, there was no sewage. I don't know if they ever showed up to fix anything, but
There you go.
I'm just trying to figure out when Lee County schools are going to open. Collier opens tomorrow. I don't see how Lee schools open Monday.
I think they'll do they'll just go school by school.
That's what I'm seeing. If they go school by school, they could start. Maddie could start today.
They post the Braves record here because the Mets are 22 games above 500 since they had a 10.5 game lead. The Braves are 77-33. Yeah.
Wow. And that is 50 games into the season.
Mm-hmm. Look at that.
Mets played 20 games above 500.
You have to be in 17 above. So basically, if on June 1st we said, hey, the Mets are going to win 100, and you're 23 and 27.
Right. Yeah, I turned this on. I didn't care. I turned it on late. I'm like, ooh, double. Ooh, first and third. Oh, all right. Walk the guy, bases loaded. I'm like, this is interesting. I watched the 7th and the 8th. Then I went to bed.
Now remember, Trent Greenhops was out for the year, though. They didn't have a choice.
Hey, I don't know if you took it as Adam. I'm not saying schools are babysitters. I'd like my daughter wants to go back to school. This is going to be over 2 weeks of kids out of school. They're not babysitters. They're educators. And they've got one tough task in front of them because they've got schools like the Cape don't have power. You've got obviously Fort Myers Beach and Sanibel schools that aren't functional. This is
Yeah, they're obviously going to have to combine some schools here.
well, yeah. Where are they going to send them? I mean,
Right.
where are they going to put the teachers from these schools? Where are the kids that lived? I mean, there's.
Right.
$30.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Our poll question's been up for an hour, which is remarkable by our standards. All right, judge it is 60-second. So what is it to you? Is it a record? Or is it just the 7th most home runs ever hit in a season? That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, floridasportsnetwork.com. Vote accordingly.
Early voting has it at 7th, and it's overwhelming. 86% of you say it's the 7th most home runs in a season.
By the way, most saying that in the scenario that I brought up that you got to play Dak. Most.
But I'm not surprised by that. You have always had a little different philosophy when it comes to quarterbacks in these type of situations. You have the same philosophy when it comes to a quarterback having a bad half.
Yeah. I just sometimes your guy doesn't have it. Like I did not have a problem the way most people did with how Flores kept inserting Fitz into the game. Because he saw a game that was winnable and Tua wasn't getting the job done and he was trying to win the games.
You wonder if Mike Tomlin will have a similar approach with Trubisky now that they're going to go Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, my guess is they're not. My guess is this is an organizational thing. That, for him to make the call at halftime, my guess is they were talking about it during the week. I don't think that
they were talking about, but Kenny Pickett sure didn't know anything about it.
No. No, he didn't. But I just ride the hot hand. I mean, these 17 games are really important. And if one can be salvaged by benching a quarterback and bringing in the backup Pickett nearly did it. I mean, he did provide the spark that Tomlin was looking for. Unfortunately, he then also provided some interceptions that he wasn't looking for. But I'm just saying they've won 3 in a row with their backup quarterback. I'm not saying Cooper Rush is better than Dak. I'd look Dak right in the eyes and go, he's not better than you. But I don't know what to tell you, man. We're winning. And that's the name of the game. All right? And I'm playing them. And I'm playing them till we lose. I'm just telling you that right now. So he's playing against the Rams. If he beats the Rams, guess what? Sunday Night Football, he's playing in Philly. And I'll take the heat. You could say whatever you want to say.
Will be fascinating if they win in LA. I mean, that's the first part of this. Because you got to get through that.
Right. It's a big if. They're an underdog. But most people on your side, they would say, hey, when the starter's ready, you put them right back in there.
I do love the scenario, though, with Bridgewater and Tua, because Tua is so toxic to so many people. Dak's been there a while. He's established. There are so many Dolphin fans that even with Tua's start this year that don't necessarily believe in him. And if Bridgewater were to go on a little run here, I would be very interested to see how Dolphin would approach this.
Well, and we talked about it. The Dolphins have a little stretch here that's doable. Jets on the road, not easy. Vikings at home, not easy. I mean, with Teddy Bridgewater, that's a pick 'em right now or a 1-point spread. But, we're getting into a stretch here. Then they host Pittsburgh, which, by the way, right now is scheduled to be the Sunday night game. Pittsburgh at Miami.
I don't think we can flex out of that
No,
just yet.
It's too early.
It's not scheduled to be. It's going to be.
It's too early.
Ouch.
So
good for the Dolphins.
And then they're in Detroit. I mean, 2-2, 3-1, and back-to-back 1-3 teams. That's the stretch here. And then they're in Chicago for a team that is 2-2 in the standings, and we all think's terrible. And if you've watched them play, you'd come to that conclusion also. So I'm telling you, Teddy Bridgewater go on a little run here. Tyreek doesn't care who's feeding him either. He doesn't. Did you see his answer? Somebody said, hey, you and Tua have developed the thing and, now your guy's down and what have you. How's it going to be, with Teddy Bridgewater? And he looked right at the guy and he says, yeah, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. I'm going to get mine.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I don't know if you're going to get the 19 targets that Cooper Kupp was getting, but
that was just ridiculous. But just throwing that out there, something to think about, Sunday night when you're watching, although actually it's the late afternoon game, Cowboys and Rams. And if all of a sudden Cooper Rush and the Cowboys are winning their 4th in a row, we sure Dak's playing in Philly? And hey, besides, it's not just a concussion, Mark. He's got a bad back and neck.
Well,
for Tua.
There's a lot there.
Right.
Absolutely. You have to be 100% sure.
That's right. We've already fired one doctor because of you. I mean, we got to be really careful.
It's time for our Clutch Vodka play of the day. And there is one guy out of the three of us that is so excited that he is going to have basketball highlights very soon to be able to deliver. We are going to have to fight him off.
He was talking the G League Ignite before the show. Okay, that's why I met you outside. I had to walk away from him. All right.
You just walked out of the building?
I did. He was talking to me. He was talking preseason NBA. I just started walking down the hall.
I threw on the Sports Mix channel last night on DirecTV, And I see basketball like this season didn't start yet. But TNT had a doubleheader last night. I'm surprised Felipe got any sleep. Back-to-back preseason games, you know.
He looked right at me and said, your Knicks looked good last night. I wanted to slap him, and so instead I just walked away.
Smart move. Smart move. We can't have that type of work environment here. We can't be slapping people because once we start, David, we'll never quit.
Sure we can.
But Judge 62. It's our clutch play of the day.
Swung on. There it goes. Deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Number 62 to set the new American League record. Aaron Judge hits his 62nd. All the Yankees out of the dugout to greet him. Just think of it. 3 Yankee right fielders. The Babe hitting 60 and 27. The Jolly Roger hitting 61 and 61. And now Aaron Judge hits his 62nd home run, the most home runs any American leaguer has hit in a single season. And the American League has been alive for 120 years. This is Judgment Day.
Jolly Roger, huh?
Jolly Roger. John Sterling, Yankees Radio Network for our clutch play of the day. Clutch with a K. Check them out. Go to Seaside for the Dolphins watch party. The Bloody Mary bars. Smooth. I've been enjoying a lot of clutch vodka the past few days, David.
I'll bet you have.
In fact, I'm out.
Wow.
Your bottle and mine.
Uh-oh. Well, there's a bottle right here. We should take it.
I know it's one of the commemorative ones. I would feel guilty about stealing it. Drinking it on set, that's a whole different story.
Miller and Moulton. Bud Elliott to join us coming up. We'll talk some college football. We'll get into the analytics. Talk a little gambling. He's still on a roll. He's still winning. Healthy margin, too. And goodness knows, you and I need to talk to somebody who can help you win because we can't.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be asking if I can just text him on Thursday night for a handful of picks.
Speaking of college football, UCF and SMU tonight in Orlando. It's a makeup game. Supposed to be last weekend. We know why it got moved. So I'm guessing it's on a 4-letter network of some kind.
Probably with a U at the end.
Yeah, or a number, something. Bud Elliott next. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Don't miss the Miami Dolphins watch party every Sunday at the Seaside Bar and Grill in Bonita Springs. Presented by Clutch Vodka. The Seaside will be serving Clutch Vodka drinks, including the awesome Bloody Mary bar at the Seaside. If you can't be at Hard Rock Stadium, come have fun at the best place in town to watch the Dolphins and enjoy the best, clean, crisp, smoothest vodka. That's Clutch with a K. Miami Dolphins parties every week at the Seaside Bar and Grill on Old 41 in Bonita Springs. Powered by Clutch Vodka.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
He's not feeling well. Says his stomach hurts.
Sorry, bud. I just saw all those texts. I was looking at something else. Hang on here. Philippe, where's... I need him to... Did he just leave again?
Yeah. He's not feeling well. His stomach's bothering him.
I know, but we've got Bud, and I got to make sure this works. My producer disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Oh, all right. You're working. I hear you.
Yeah, I'm good. I just wanted to make sure.
Uh-oh, where are you?
Coming cold and not be able to hear you guys.
Are you in a hotel room?
I am actually at my folks' house. No, I'm in Fort Myers.
Okay. How'd your parents come out?
They did all right, man. I'm
Yeah.
running up to Pine Island today to help a little bit. So CBS gave me a couple days off. Very nice of them.
Who's in Pine Island?
Is my signal okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
The what now?
Who's in Pine Island?
All right, cool.
Who do you have in Pine Island?
Just a couple of my buddies. I don't have anybody personally, but a couple of my buddies, grew up in North Fort Myers. They have boats, so go up there and help some folks. And then a couple of my buddies' house got water in them, so been doing some demo work on that. Just 4 feet of drywall, right?
Yep.
How'd you guys make out?
Fine. Like nothing happened really. I mean, just I got power back yesterday, but
yeah, same with my folks.
Minimal. My front of my
you guys
car.
You guys got internet back yet?
I had internet before I had power.
Yeah, my folks don't have internet, but they have power. So I'm on the hot spot. Sounds okay?
Sounds fine.
Cool. If it starts getting choppy, I'll kill video.
Okay.
Oh man. That was wild.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
You make out okay at home?
We did, man. Like, I was shocked at how much damage Orlando took. Just being up there, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Hurricane, like it's not something to be worried about in Orlando. Our house was just fine. We have like a sister neighborhood that some people got 6 inches a foot in their house just coming off, like just from where certain like drainage stuff
Right.
overran. Right. There's like, we didn't play our softball game last night because a lot of people are still out of town because they don't have power. So I was surprised that such a big storm though.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it was my neighbor 3 doors down is an ex-cop. He's got all these little toys. He said we had 150 gusts in our neighborhood. And I believe, because I've got impact glass. I never left the kitchen, basically. I just sat there and watched the storm. It was, wow.
Sure.
And then, so many people already that it's just, and you obviously living here as long as you did, people that lost everything too. So it's just.
Oh, yeah.
Just crazy. And, and you knew it. People on the beach were going to stay because that's what Fort Myers Beach people are. I love the beach and I love the beach people, but anybody that thought that they were all evacuating, they just don't.
Yeah, they don't. It's sad, man. Now they're kind of getting just to instead of rescue phase, more just body recovery phase.
Yep.
At this point. They were saying the shelter capacity or the shelters didn't fill up. Sad. How about those people that rode it out on the boat? Did you see that story?
Yes.
We're coming back.
Like, I wouldn't do that personally.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
We've been looking forward to this for over a week. Wednesdays at this time, Bud Elliott, 24/7 Sports, CBS Sports, Cover 3 podcasts, Noelcast, which was the sports podcast of the year, by the way. You can follow Bud on Twitter, Bud Elliott 3, Bud Elliott the number 3. First off, Fort Myers is home for you for a long time. Orlando is home for you and much of your family now. How'd you and your family make out through all this, Bud?
Both my folks down here in Fort Myers and my place up in Orlando did absolutely fine. They just got power back on, down here yesterday, like Mark said, and did great up there in Orlando. I was surprised at how much rain Orlando got, and like a lot of people still don't have power, but not a lot of serious damage up there, and just crazy storm, man.
Absolutely. And I know you're down in town to help some folks out today. And obviously, they're going to appreciate your help in getting them back to what they need to do, as this is going to be a dig out for a while. We want to go back a little bit, Bud, because the Florida-Tennessee game, Napier goes for 2. And they were down 11. They stayed down 11, forced them to go for 2 the next time. If they would have kicked extra points, there would have been perhaps a shot at a field goal to tie it. He doubled down on the analytics. You're on the side of analytics. It's one to me. I don't get down 17. To me, you got to try to tie the game before you can try to win the game. Help us with the analytics here.
Yeah, I think the misnomer here, right? And it took me a while to kind of wrap my head around this one, and now I really get why they do it. Is because we're taught, hey, extend the game, right? Get the game to overtime. But overtime is at best a 50-50 shot. With Florida, we know Florida does not like its defensive line depth, okay? And Tennessee is going to try to run a million plays and just gas those guys. I think Billy Napier correctly surmised that going to overtime was not a 50-50 shot, right? It's probably like a 70-30 shot, given how well Tennessee was moving the football. Really, Florida got very few stops in that game that were not turnover related, and that's not really something that you can rely on. So when we say, hey, like to tie the game and get it to overtime, what we're really saying is, all right, kick the field goal to try to give yourself a 30% shot to win later. What Napier's trying to do is increase his chance to actually win the game, not just to extend the game. I thought he actually coached that game really well. Now, it could have backfired on him in terms of getting blown out. Like if Napier wanted to, he could have got a good PR win just by punting the ball more, playing even slower than he did in the second half. By going for it, it told me like Napier thought they had a real shot to win that ball game. And they got those fourth downs. What if they didn't get those fourth downs? They could have gotten blown out. But like to me, oftentimes the choice you make that allows you to increase your chance to win the game also it's sort of like increases your chance of risk and ruin, and I thought he did a really good job coaching that game.
And for the record, okay, we're on the other side of that. Okay. And, I get the whole, road teams in overtime only win like 30-something% of the time. I get it. I just think if you're down 17 with 6 minutes to go and you could have forced overtime, that, you know what, I'll take my chances, even if it's 1 and 3. All right.
It is sparing anyway. Like we're talking about the difference between like a 7% chance to win and a 5, right? Like if you're down 17 with 6 minutes to go, there's probably a reason for that, especially if you're the underdog, like the game is playing out as they saw it. So it's kind of minuscule. And his by the way, his going for it earlier in the game gave them that chance to actually have a shot to win at the end. If they just punted the ball, we're never having this conversation.
I mean, late third quarter when you're down, 2 scores or more, and it's 4th and 3 on like your own 30 and you're going for it. Yeah. I mean, and there's no doubt he coached that game a certain way and he did it until the bitter end. And in that sense, you can admire it. What are we to make of some of these teams here? First off, Clemson. Okay. back-to-back wins against top 15 teams. All right. Some people are dogging them because they haven't been as impressive as they have in the past. I don't know, Bud. I think they just played the best 2-game stretch that anyone else has played in the last 2 weeks.
I agree. I mean, there were some 20-1 out there for the Natty earlier this week. I don't think that they're going to win the Natty, but if they get in the dance, which there's a pretty good shot they do now, I like to be holding the 21 ticket to be able to hedge out of. DJ Uiagalelei this year so far, if you look on PFF, 15 big-time throws, only 2 turnover-worthy plays. That's the best ratio in the country. This is a kid that we were talking about benching after week 1. And I remember we talked in the shows like, look, I know you guys watched the game against Georgia Tech. His receivers dropped a lot of important passes, and the O-line didn't look very good in that opening game. And since then, they've kind of gelled. They made a switch at right tackle. That kid's been playing a lot better. I think Clemson's about to get a whole lot better, by the way, because they have been missing a ton of guys in that secondary due to injury or just like back-to-back targeting type stuff. I think they'll get Brzee back at some point. Maybe not this week, but in a couple weeks, he could come back. Xavier Thomas is going to get back. That Clemson team is about to be very tough to face down the stretch, and I do think they have a really good shot now of going undefeated in the regular season, at least.
What do you make of Ole Miss? I mean, that could have been a loss against Kentucky. They forced a couple of turnovers there, or maybe they don't get out of it. Kentucky's kicking game was bad. There are a lot of reasons why Kentucky lost that, but Ole Miss played good defense. It's a different Lane Kiffin team, really, because they run the ball really well. What do you make of this team?
I think it's a quality team, but I have my doubts about them still, and mainly because I was very much down on Kentucky. Like, I don't have Kentucky as a top 20 power rated team, and I did not entering the weekend because I think Kentucky's offense is kind of nonsense, right? If we didn't have Josh Allen draft hype, we wouldn't be talking about Kentucky's offense at all, and Kentucky's defense is missing a few key guys. Ole Miss was somewhat fortunate to get out of that game with at least not going to overtime, right? Ole Miss just does not seem to be able to throw the football like they once did, and that's important. But they are running it fairly well. The defense is a quality defense. I don't know if they have the quarterback to make real noise in the SEC this year. To me, it's Bama, Georgia, and then if for some reason Bryce is out longer than we think, when Bama goes to Tennessee in 2 weeks, maybe we're talking on this show about some real drama. I don't know if Ole Miss can create that drama.
Well, should we take a look at Alabama and Georgia differently? I mean, let's face it, Alabama was lucky to get by Texas. And obviously, without Bryce Young, they're a very different team. They were in trouble even for a moment at Arkansas. And for goodness sakes, I mean, Georgia was losing for 3 hours to Missouri. So, I mean, is it just, hey, it's a long season and this stuff happens? Or maybe we need to dig in a little more on Georgia and Alabama?
I think it's different conversations for both. So with Alabama losing Bryce, they still don't have some of their receiver compliments back at receiver due to injury, but they're expecting to get those guys back. Like, they're not out for the year. I thought it was impressive how they doubled down and were able to run the ball explosively on Arkansas in the second half when Bryce went out. And if you were holding a plus 17.5 ticket with Arkansas, when Bryce went out, you're like, oh, this is live. And Arkansas came back, and the Bama's like, hey, here's 3 70-yard runs for you in the fourth quarter. Watch this. With Georgia, it is a little bit different. They seem to play with I would say, a little more lack of focus in the last 2 weeks against Kent State and against Missouri. I never really thought Missouri was going to beat them because Missouri just had it. If Missouri was going to win, they had to score touchdowns in the first 3 quarters, and they just settled for field goals every time. And you talk about coaching to keep it close, not coaching to win. I thought that was Eli Drinkwitz, to be honest. Like, he should have been playing 4-down territory once you get it down inside the 20 against Georgia, because you're going to have so few chances to do so. But Georgia passing game, they need to get Arian Smith back. They need to get A.D. Mitchell back. They don't really have the explosive threats on the outside. And we talked about how many guys they lose in the first round of the NFL draft. That defense is still good, but they are still learning together. Both these teams, I think, if they can stay healthy or get healthier, are probably still my 1-2 at the end of the season. But right now, my number 1 team is Ohio State, because I feel like they have it in gear to score in a way that I'm not really sure the other 2 teams can do.
Boy, how many do they put up this week, by the way, against that defense that Michigan State has? That game could get
As many as
really
they want.
if Ohio State wants
Yeah.
to, they could make that game really ugly.
Think about it. Georgia, Auburn, what's the number? 25?
30.
30.
No, it's 30.
26.5, is it? Ohio State, Michigan State?
Right. Would you take either dog?
I would consider some Auburn at like 31 or 30.5, just because I feel like if Georgia's not healthy for this game, they could play it very slow. And Auburn is certainly not going to play up tempo, or they have no desire to play fast, given their current personnel. I would not touch Michigan State. Like there's no. I think I played some 23 or 24 when this opened.
And I can't see why you wouldn't. All right. One of the teams that's off to a good start is Tennessee. They've got LSU. They're a little bit of a favorite this week. You already mentioned that you're not totally buying Tennessee because of that defense, but look at this game, and it's a little closer than I thought it would be at 3. Why is the line so close? Is LSU starting to figure
Tennessee,
it out?
I don't think LSU's starting to figure it out, to be honest. I had some stuff on LSU and Auburn. Like I had Auburn team totals under in that game, which actually won, which was the luckiest thing I've had all year because they had 17 points through 20 minutes and didn't score again. But with LSU, their offense doesn't look any good to me, right? They only had 200-something yards. Daniels and his receivers are not in sync. Daniels has been the offense has basically been him running around, and he has an E thing going on right now as he came out in the latter minutes of that game at Auburn. LSU also is very thin at corner, and they lost Banks, and I do think that's a big deal. I don't know that they have good corner depth this year. I think they have good safety depth. That's at least from what I was talking about in the preseason. On the other hand, Tennessee has a look-ahead game to Alabama, right, next week, and they are without Tillman, and they also lost their number 2 corner for the season. I'm still taking Tennessee here, and I will lay the points because I feel like I can trust them to score in a fashion that I cannot trust LSU to score. But I can see why, like it's a tough road trip. Tennessee is kind of banged up. There's some chance. I don't know that LSU's corners are actually that good.
A noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central kick. Everybody involved in this game not happy with the start time. Tennessee coming off a bye, though. Okay, so I don't think they'll overlook LSU, looking ahead to Alabama because, in fact, they had the bye. All right, are we buying Oklahoma State?
Oh, man. Been getting hell on Twitter all week for this one because I said on Cover 3 that we had to identify the most fraudulent top 10 team. And I think Oklahoma State's a good team, right? I think they're a legitimate top 20, top 15 team. I just have a lot of teams that are clustered sort of in that 7 to 25 range. And I don't really know that I see Oklahoma State as a true top 10 team right now. Like they're avoiding turnovers, which is big. And their defense is a little bit better than I think you could have thought it would have been. But they were also somewhat fortunate to win by margin at Baylor. That kickoff return and some of the early turnovers they got were big. I think they're a good football team, guys. They could win the Big 12. Now I have my Tennessee or my TCU 28-1 ticket for the Big 12 that we talked about in the preseason. That looks great after last week. I'm gonna need them to continue to play like that. That would be fantastic. Honestly, like if Texas gets Ewers back, they've been playing sneakily good in the Big 12. And if you get Ewers back and that offense just sparks, they might be your best team in that league.
The way he throws it with that Worthy kid on the outside who's uncoverable. I mean, he's flat out uncoverable. At the college level, that kid is unbelievable. And Ewers.
You guys remember, by the way, they lost Isaiah Naylor in the preseason for the year. Isaiah Naylor was the best receiver in the transfer portal, the stud kid they got from Wyoming. Can you imagine that offense if he had stayed healthy?
Oklahoma, Texas, both unranked, meeting this week.
Wow. The Noles, well, they lost. They've got NC State. Just a little bit about where Florida State is heading into this week, bud.
Yeah, I mean, they took 4 transfer offensive linemen, and I think 3 of them are down right now. So you have to have bodies, and they do not have bodies along the lines of scrimmage right now at the positions that matter because they're hurt. They have a bye week coming up after NC State and Clemson. I think they have a pretty good shot to get healthy and be nice down the stretch. These next 2 weeks could be a struggle. And they could beat NC State, potentially, if NC State wants to screw around. But there's also a reality in which NC State just bullies them physically along lines of scrimmage, and the game is not as competitive as FSU fans would like.
Yeah, sometimes NC State struggles to score. Maybe Florida State can steal this one late. He's Bud Elliott, 24/7 Sports, CBS Sports, the Cover 3 podcast, the Nolecast. Follow him on Twitter at Bud Elliott3, Bud Elliott, the number 3. 10 seconds. Give us a pick.
I like Kent State this weekend. 750 yards last week, but 9 holding penalties kind of mask that. That offense is really going.
Any thoughts on UCF SMU tonight?
I am passing on this. I kind of think UCF, but it's not enough for me to fire.
He's Bud Elliott. Bud, be safe. Thanks for all you're doing.
All right, guys. Be well.
Bud Elliott, who left his Orlando home to drive to Southwest Florida, his old stomping grounds, and he's helping out some buddies the next couple of days get on their feet. He's a good man. Bud Elliott joining us here on Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Don't miss the Miami Dolphins watch party every Sunday at the Seaside Bar and Grill in Bonita Springs, presented by Clutch Vodka. The Seaside will be serving Clutch Vodka drinks, including the awesome Bloody Mary bar at the Seaside. If you can't be at Hard Rock Stadium, come have fun at the best place in town to watch the Dolphins and enjoy the best, clean, crisp, smoothest vodka. That's Clutch with a K. Miami Dolphins parties every week at the Seaside Bar and Grill on Old 41 in Bonita Springs, powered by Clutch Vodka.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Klecko.
He's not posted as many pics this year. I think it's a Gmail site.
I think he's contemplating whether or not he should be charging people for these email pics. And he should.
You got anything here? Because I do.
30.
You do?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right.
I was just going to talk about how long Brady's going to keep playing now.
Okay.
We can do that next.
10 seconds.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And just like that, it's the 8 o'clock hour, the final hour of Miller and Moulton in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, and those between Port Charlotte and Venice. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Normally, we have a few more guests on a Wednesday. That will not be the case today. We don't have phone service, and so we're having to get guests on differently, and some can't always make it that way. So today's one of those days where Bud Elliott will actually be our only guest.
And Seth usually joins us on Wednesdays. He was on yesterday. Yom Kippur is today. So
Right.
Seth has a day of atonement that he
Right.
definitely needs.
Yeah,
Because he was sending us text at like 10:30 last night.
Right. Or the rest of the week. Right. One or the other for as much atoning as he has to do. Man, oh man, did he hunk some Yankee fans off that I know. Man, I had some blistering texts. You know, I'm traveling yesterday. And so I don't usually keep the phone on while I'm flying. I just turn it off.
I figured at this point now, with you having as many miles, that they hand you a special case when you get on the plane and you have your own Wi-Fi password on Delta, for crying out loud.
I probably could make some arrangements, but you know what? The phone needs a rest. I need a rest. All right. Let's just turn the phone off. All right. And then be entertained by how many messages I've received during the flight. And man, oh man, Yankee fans not happy with our buddy Seth. Okay. And his take, and just, you know, it's not a record, and give me a break, and just, I'm just saying they're not happy.
I'm with them. It's the 7th most home runs hit in a season. It's a remarkable accomplishment.
It is. Sosa hit more home runs 3 times, McGuire twice, and Bonds. But that's all. Speaking of Judge and his 62nd home run. So this one was caught.
Right.
I say that because the 61st home run was not.
Right.
So 62nd home run was caught. An investment banker, vice president of Fisher Investments in the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area. Corey Humans is his name. He's married to a local sports reporter.
Huh.
Yeah.
Probably how he got the tickets.
Okay. She, all right, sent out a bunch of tweets like, that is my man. Because obviously she's thinking ka-ching, ka-ching. So, you know, what would you do? And think about this. No one caught 61, and there's a really good chance he doesn't play today. So the final number ends up being 62.
What's that auction house? Sotheby's or whatever it is there.
Right.
That's might be calling them. It's
Well-
for sale.
Okay. The word is minimum 2 million,
It's for sale.
which I don't get. I don't.
And I don't either. But if I was lucky enough to get that ball, I'm selling the thing. And I'm selling it now. I'm not giving it to Aaron Judge. I'm not giving it to the Hall of Fame. I'm selling the damn ball. It's $2 million. This has nothing to do with the history of the game. I don't give a damn. It's my ball. I caught it. I'm selling it.
It's my party.
And I'll sell it if I want to.
Sell it if I want to. So minimum 2 million, apparently. And security was there on the spot.
For the record, David and I both did backup singer dances during that quick 2-bar.
I did.
Okay,
Yep.
just those on Twitch saw the arms moving.
I rolled the fists.
Yep,
okay?
there was no doubt that there was a little
Yep.
pip going on out of both of us there.
So want to be a backup singer to Adele. I really do. So 2 million minimum. And security came and they surrounded him and then they whisked him away. And as he's being whisked away, media's there. What are you going to do? He goes, I don't know. Haven't thought about it. And he didn't give it to him last night. And you would think if he's going to give it to him, today's the last shot, right? He comes to the ballpark today. They make arrangements. My people call your people, that sort of deal.
Now, he's an investment banker. He could make decent money.
From the sounds of it, he is. All right. He's doing pretty well. His wife is on television in a top 10 market. You know, she's making 6 figures, first digits potentially crooked. So they're doing fine.
Yeah, I'm selling the ball.
It is 2 million.
It's $2 million.
Minimum is what they say. They say it could fetch more.
Right. Don't know if they have any kids.
I don't think they do. Is there anything that could be offered up to you here? Because there's
$3 million. It's no, and I'm not being a jerk here. It's really easy. If I have to go through a lot of work to get $2 million, I'll give it to New York, the Yankees. You want to buy it? You know what? I'll give you a deal. I'll give it to you for $1.5 million. That way I don't have to go through all the rigmarole. You cut me a check for $1.5 million. I'll give you the ball right now. By the way, New York Yankees, it's chump change to you. You're going to pay the guy who hit the home run $250 million minimum. I'm asking for $1.5 million. Let's be realistic. It's not even an ad on the Yes Network, for crying out loud, for the season. And when they say, are you right? Stop. Because every time you ask another question, it goes up by $100,000. If you want it, it's $1.5 million right now.
Because, and granted, you and I are not memorabilia people. All right. But potentially, this is my understanding, like you could have gone to Judge, and I guess potentially you still could, although it's likely been washed and all that. But I mean, you could have, in theory, gotten his uniform that he wore that day, got it authenticated, signed, the whole deal. You know, you could have gotten a bat signed. You could have gotten, baseball signed. I mean, there's apparently other memorabilia that people would pay good money for.
$2 million good money?
I don't think so, but there are apparently the uniform, all right, would fetch a good price.
Here's the thing. Judge is what, 6'6", 6'7"?
6'7", I believe.
Right. So the uniform's of no value to me because it's a dress. I can't even wear the damn thing. It's going to look like an overcoat, for crying out. It's going to look like I'm 6 years old when I put the jersey on.
You sound like the guy who won the Masters, okay? And now you've dropped 50 pounds and you got this oversized green jacket and you can only wear it to a couple of dinners a year. And you're like, what am I going to do with this thing? It's a tarp. Oh, I'm sorry, Angel.
So if I literally were a memorabilia person,
right,
I would still want the ball. And I would ask of one thing. Would you sign it for me, Aaron? Because I'm going to keep the ball. I'd like your autograph on it. If you don't want to give it, that's fine. You don't have to. I'm not giving the ball to anybody. I'm not selling the ball. It's going up in my office. I caught number 62. I'm keeping it forever. I'm going to give it to my kids. Would you sign it for me? if I were a memorabilia person. And if he said no, I'm fine. But I'm not giving you the ball. I caught it. That's part of the deal. That's everybody's got to stop for a second. From the time you're a little kid bringing your glove to a game, it's a souvenir. It's part of the deal. And it's a big part of the deal for some people. It's my ball.
I don't have a problem with you selling it. I don't. All right. You know, my natural instinct is to somehow, some way give it to him. All right. But I mean, $2 million. I mean, let's face it, we all have a price. I mean, you know, certain guys are playing LIV golf because they have a price. I mean, I'm inclined to want to give whoever the ball, but $2 million.
And why is it that the public has to give stuff to rich people all the time? That's the thing that I don't seem to understand. This guy, you know, Aaron Judge would say it's worth $2 million. Here's $1 million if I want the ball.
I like that. Make an offer.
I mean, why is it that we continually give so many things to rich people who already have so much?
Listen, don't get me going on all the self-servicing that we're doing everywhere in our society right now. All right. What happened to paying people to do this for us? I thought it was part of the experience. And I'm not just talking gas. So I hear you. I hear you. I'm okay. I am. Normally I'm like, come on, you know, but no. $2 million. I stopped me in my tracks. I went, what? Seriously? Oh, minimum. I'm Darren Ravel. Minimum $2 million. There's already apparently an offer that was made by this
sold
auction house that said, whoever gets it, I'll give you $2 million for it. Oh my goodness.
Done.
I was going to say, where are you? I'll get on a plane today.
No, you can come to me.
For $2 million, I got to admit, I'd be willing to go to them.
Nope.
No bag or nothing either. What do you got there? I got
a ball.
I got a ball.
I'm not checking it. It's not leaving my hands.
I got a ball, a phone, and a wallet. That's it. That's all I got. So, you know, what would you do with it? And I'm guessing most people would find a way to make the $2 million. But I'm curious how many of you would have done something different. Would you have done the alternative, traded it for a uniform and a bat and a signed ball? And, you know,
Johnny Mack in the Twitch chat room tells me that 5 days ago I would have traded it for a home generator, and he's not that far off.
In fact, 2 days ago, Johnny Mack, I think he would have. So you did get power back yesterday, right?
I did. I did. And one of our listeners, Barry, was nice enough yesterday. One of our Twitch followers said, I've got a generator if you need it. Came over to my house, helped me hook the generator up, and literally we got power 2 hours later. I told him that's what's going to happen. But can't thank him enough, and awfully nice to do that for me. Was incredibly nice, to say the very least.
So you're just going to New York, and it's just here. You're offering $2 million. Here's the ball. Boom.
Right.
Done.
And I would tell the Yankees, if you want it, you can have it, but this is the price.
You know, someone in our Twitch chat room made a good point. All the money they spent flying the Maris family around for a week, and none of them were at the game yesterday. I mean, you do have to go back to living your life. But so you would have given the Yankees a $500,000 discount minimum.
Probably.
I mean, because who knows? You could get more than 2. It could be 2.5. But so you would have said to the Yankees, you want
if
this
you
for
want
him?
it, baseball wants it. I'm going to get $2 million for it, but I'll be a good baseball guy. Give me $1.5 million. And if they get all indignant and that, up yours.
Right. Got one shot at this.
Yeah, you got one shot.
Once I put this in my pocket and walk out the stadium, that's it. All right. Corey Humans is his name. So we'll see what he does. Most everyone thinks he's going to sell it.
Corey, we need some sponsors. Can I give you a call?
Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around and get it.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Holy shit. Temporary road over Matlacha Pass will be finished within 3 hours. That is amazing.
It is.
You just die for it, Johnny Mac. And then pray you don't pray. That's got to be worse than a fumble scrum. What's going on in the bottom of that pile? Oh my God. Are you kidding me? How on God's green earth could they think that that's right in today's world? Oh my God. From that to this.
Yeah. Yep. So you've got this one, right?
I think we just, how long's Tom going to play? Does this mean Brady's back? Recap a couple of things.
Did you know that Jared Goff has started at quarterback for 3 of the 20 highest scoring games in NFL history?
I'm sorry, what's your stat?
Jared Goff has started at quarterback for 3 of the 20 highest scoring football games in NFL history.
Okay, yeah, that great Rams-Chiefs game.
54-51, I think it was. This was 48-45.
And then
there's the Eagles game, or was it another Rams game? The Lions-Eagles game, or was it another Rams game?
Lions-Eagles.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Come back.
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with you. Hope things a little bit better today than yesterday. That's about all we can ask, right? So we don't normally go here, but I mean, Tom Brady's a big deal. Is this his final season with the Tampa Bay Bucks?
No way. Not if they're getting divorced. It's the only thing that was stopping him before.
He's already talking about it, though. I mean, he already said he finds himself getting more emotional this year than in past years.
Yeah, he's hiring a divorce lawyer. Do you know how emotional that is? I didn't have any money and it was emotional to me. I can't imagine when you have all kinds of money how emotional it is.
Yeah, she's got more. So,
Does she now?
I
mean, that there was a time when they met that may have been the case, that she was earning more money than he was.
Well, she was earning more money like 5 years ago, too.
Right. But the whole TB12 thing and some of his off-field stuff.
He's now worth, I think, $250 million. I thought that his value's up to $250 million.
Is that after his contract with Fox?
I don't even think that counts because he hasn't started earning it yet. So
I mean, do the Bucks have a long-term quarterback problem, or are they just now settling in on who their quarterback is for next year?
So you think now, because of his
impending divorce?
Well, first off, just,
is the Post reporting that they both hired divorce lawyers?
They both hired lawyers. That doesn't mean they're going to go through with it. All right.
Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but typically it kind of goes like this: we're done, I'm done, we're done. When you go get a lawyer,
I understand, but
you've kind of ramped this up.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. She's seemingly on the attack here. She's not happy. All right. I think he's playing defense. That's all.
And he doesn't play defense. He's a quarterback. He's now on an island. It's not Revis Island, if you know what I mean.
This is a pick six.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Right. And she's got a couple steps on him in the race to the end zone. He's in trouble here. There's no doubt. And he's not fleet of foot.
Now, I will say, when they start divvying stuff up and they go to mediation and he just simply says, I just wanted to work, earn for the family. It's going to be his defense. Now, when they say you already had $250 million in the bank, that's
right. Plus, Felipe, off the top of my head, I'm guessing that the Fox money is just going to replace the Tampa Bay Bucks money. So I don't think it's going to hurt his net income.
Could be a poll question down the road because of the divorce. Does Tom Brady now actually broadcast games on Fox?
I would think so, believe it or not. And I'm not joking here because, I've always thought that he was not going to broadcast games. I thought that this was a signing that Fox is going to use him with sponsors and advertisers and to make 6-8 speeches a year and to help them make money. And that maybe Tom occasionally would sit in on the studio show. Like, I do think this year, Fox is the Super Bowl. And if Brady's not playing in the game, I don't think he'll be in the booth, but I think he'll be on the set. I do. And
really lighten up, because I've listened to a little bit of that Monday show, and it's just so uptight.
Well, Jim Gray's pretty uptight. I mean, and that's kind of who's feeding him the stuff. And, also I think Tom's jamming that show in his busy schedule, playing on Sunday and getting that show recorded before it airs at like 6:00 Monday. So Drew Brees was asked last week about, hey, you tried the broadcasting thing. And he said, listen, I don't know if Tom fully realizes how hard you have to work. That the thought is that this was easy. And he goes, it's not that easy. He said, I actually now have a lot more regard for those that do this than I did when I was playing. So I found that to be interesting.
Well, he's definitely used to someone talking in his ear.
True. Although, Sean Payton got cut off with 15 seconds left. I mean, that's not the case here. You can talk right up to the snap. You can talk through the snap.
Exactly.
Right? But I do think that this would make Tom actually do games. Because I was thinking that's another reason why I didn't think I'm like, so hold on a second. All right. She wants him home, more family time. I go, he's going to be gone damn near 48 hours every week. Why? And I mean, every week. I mean, every week's a road game.
Yeah, I got you, but it's only 20, 21 weeks where it's 48 hours as opposed to.
No, I understand.
Every day. And at that point, she may want him out of the house for 48 hours.
And it's possible, but it's weekends. So you're not going to be here. Your kids are teens. You're not going to be here every weekend for 5 months. Really? I don't know. I thought it was an arranged marriage when I heard the announcement. Fox was getting a lot of heat because they hadn't replaced Joe and Troy with names. And so I thought that they were like, well, we're just going to come off the top rope. We're signing Brady. Okay, you can all kiss mine. And that's what I thought they were doing, with no intention from either side of actually doing it.
And now you got to put that off for a couple of years because Brady's not done yet.
Oh, he's done. Come on now. He's done.
I know, but it'll make it fun to play with for the rest of the year. Because at some point he's going to get asked again.
I still think they call it off. Mark, I'm a hopeless romantic. All right. I believe that they call it off.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
I think he does some serious groveling.
He's been doing serious groveling. It's not working.
Well, she's not even listening to it. I'm just saying, I think he'll do some serious groveling. All right. And he'll walk her back, from the edge.
Ooh, I'd take that bet.
Okay.
I hope you're right. I want to lose this bet. I would love to buy lunch on this bet.
Just a hopeless romantic.
But I think I'm enjoying a quesadilla when it's all said and done.
Mark, the Hallmark movie doesn't end this way. That's all I'm telling you. It just doesn't.
You're very right.
Come on, 6 months ago they were fine.
And it is the Hallmark movie because he's the Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Totally.
She's a supermodel. I mean,
definitely.
How is this not a Hallmark movie?
And they're both white, so of course it's Hallmark. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a funny line. All right. Don't know how many of you appreciate that, but that's a funny line.
Is this on?
Hello?
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 Check 1 2 1 2. The text line's open, and I can't wait to see what's on it. I'm the one that answers those texts, so appreciate you going easy on me at 21,000.
Come on now. It's just a little humor there. Little humor there. They've taken a little grief for being so ivory white. They've had to, work in some storylines in which it actually involved people of color. So there's a reason for that line there. That's all. As somebody who's watched many a rom-com.
But you are right in terms of the broadcasting because his kid's playing high school football, or about to play football. You're going to miss every weekend.
Now, I will say, in theory, you're doing in the NFL, Friday nights you can be there for with no problem. They would want you in town Saturday night for a production meeting and what have you. But I mean, Tom Brady can make his own schedule. Let's be honest. The game's at 4:25 on Sunday. Tom, when are you going to be here? Well, I'm thinking of flying in at noon. Okay.
For a while they'd do that. Miller and Moulton, we thank you so much for listening. We're not getting divorced on the Florida Sports Network. Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Don't miss the Miami Dolphins watch party every Sunday at the Seaside Bar and Grill in Bonita Springs. Presented by Clutch Vodka. The Seaside will be serving Clutch Vodka drinks, including the awesome Bloody Mary bar at the Seaside. If you can't be at Hard Rock Stadium, come have fun at the best place in town to watch the Dolphins and enjoy the best, clean, crisp, smoothest vodka. That's Clutch with a K. Miami Dolphins parties every week at the Seaside Bar and Grill on Old 41 in Bonita Springs. Powered by Clutch Vodka.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Mm-hmm. The FBI tracked Aretha Franklin for 40 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. What's up with that? I mean, please tell me you just were a big fan. You did this much baseball?
Yeah. Guy text. They're both white, and it's Hallmark with 3 laughing emojis. No lies told. 3 more laughing emojis. No. People who it just you say things that I'm afraid. I used to be the one that say things that make you cringe. Now it is reversed because I am petrified. I'm so scared of saying the wrong thing on air anymore.
I figure after all we've been through.
Oh, it's a great line.
What the hell? 'Scooby-Doo's Velma. Oh, thanks, Mello.
One minute.
Yeah, apparently, see, I didn't read Matt Baker's article yet, but Jeff Scott referenced point spreads twice when kind of defending his job. He says that, Jeff Scott made a de facto defense for his job Tuesday, referencing betting lines. The Bulls were at least 2-score underdogs in all 4 losses. The turnover, 5 coaches in 12 years, and injuries. But
10 seconds.
it's all true. I mean, they've had 5 ADs.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Poll question, now that Judge has hit 62, what is it to you? Is it a record? Or is it just the 7th most homers anyone's ever hit in a season before? That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter, floridasportsnetwork.com. Vote accordingly. Speaking of baseball, today's the final day of the regular season. Can't end soon enough for the Rays. Lost 11 of 15 down the stretch here. Good thing the Orioles faded. Man, they look like they were a lock to have another 90-win season. That ain't happening. They're the 6th seed. That's locked in. There's no suspense today at all.
No, the only chance we had is if the Marlins could have pulled it off last night against the Braves. They had an opportunity with bases loaded in the 8th to tie and perhaps take the lead against the Braves. They did not. The Braves won the division, so there's nothing in the East. All that we're left, or what the biggest story win-wise is your Cincinnati Reds. Will they lose 100 games?
Right. The Reds are the oldest franchise in the National League, have lost 100 games once before in their history. They're sitting at 99. They staved off 100 last night, rallying late to beat the Cubs. Can they do it again today? And, some individual stuff. The batting title's on the line in both leagues. But if Judge doesn't play, I figure the Twins will sit a rise and he'll win it by default. And McNeil's about 3 points ahead of Freeman, who went 0 for 5 though yesterday. I think Jeff McNeil had a good doubleheader for the Mets. So maybe McNeil's got some breathing room to win the National League batting title as well. But otherwise, home runs, RBIs, both leagues are set. And Verlander posted his 18th win last night, 1.75 ERA. He's going to win the Cy Young at 39.
Yeah, McNeil's up 4 points on Freeman, so that's pretty much done too. Possible.
So, it'll be interesting to see who even plays today for a whole bunch of these teams. But Rays at the 6. They're going to play Cleveland as the 3. Baseball doesn't reseed. So 1 and 2 get buys, Houston and the Yankees in the American League. The Yankees will play the winner of Cleveland and Tampa Bay, period. It's locked in. Houston will play the winner of...
Boy, are the Yankees pulling for Cleveland. Seriously.
Although the Indians are the best team in the American League since September 1st, them and the Jays.
I got you, but the Rays...
They kind of sort of have the Yankees number.
They really do.
Right. And if they were to get by Cleveland... I know.
Hey, look, the Yanks could get bounced by either of them the way they're playing baseball.
Well, I actually think teams are a little worried about the Indians. Pardon me, the Guardians. That they're worried about because their pitching's that good. That they could best. And then the second round series is a best of 5, Mark. Cleveland or Tampa Bay get through this best of 3. Well, the division round's just a best of 5. So you figure it gives the underdog even a little bit more of a chance to post the upset. National League with the Braves clinching 5th straight division title, by the way. Man, that's impressive. Even the 90s Braves are going, man, well done, guys. Good job by you. Because, the Braves didn't win it in 93. The Phillies did. The Braves,
You sure about that? The only reason I say it is that one of the stats I have for today was the day when. Today in 2001, the Braves become the first pro sports team to win 10 straight division titles.
I'm trying to figure out how the Phillies got to the World Series that year. In 93. That's all. But because I didn't think we had a wild card till 94. Oh, what? The Braves were in the West.
Right.
I forgot. That's right. I think they realigned after that year. Forgot the Braves were in the West. Ha!
That crosstown rival, the Dodgers.
He's right. Think about all the teams they had to play. San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles. Cincinnati was in the West.
Yes.
For the longest time. That's crazy. But so Dodgers are the 1, Braves are the 2, Cardinals are the 3. Cardinals will play the Phillies. Phillies in the playoffs for the first time in 11 years. And the first round best of 3 is all at one site. The 3 and 4 seeds host all 3 games. So in the American League, Cleveland and Toronto host the games. National League, St. Louis hosts Philly. The Mets host San Diego. Winner of San Diego and the Mets plays the Dodgers. Winner of St. Louis and Philly plays the Braves. Big edge for the Braves. It's another reason why I think we're going to reseed. Because I think people are going to sit back and go, man, the 1 seeds had the tougher draws.
So I thought of something that's probably bizarro world, and you may just laugh me off the show right now. But when we go to 8 in baseball, because it's going to go to 8, I wondered if they would, you've got to give the 1s even a bigger advantage if you add more teams. Like the 1 and 2s to me would have to have an unbelievable advantage past just the 3 home games.
Well, What would you do?
Road team might have to win one more. Told you. I'm trying to figure, but I'm telling you, they're going to go nuts over the buys when these teams lose. They're going to have to fix it, and they're going to have to add more teams, because I'm telling you right now, we're going to have this for a couple of years, and we're going to end up with not a lot of 1s and 2s in the World Series.
Here's when I think they're going to expand and go to 8, when they add 2 teams. Okay. When
so they have 32.
Right. And then they'll have half the teams in baseball make the playoffs. Now, of course, if I was running things, I'd split the season in half. We'd have the first half winner and the second half winner, and then the 2 would play one another. And you would get out of your divisions first. So in that sense, I do it like hockey tries to do it, where you get out of your divisions before you move on. But that's when I think they'll do it.
And it's going to happen, because I'm telling you right now, 1s and 2s are going to end up losing at a higher rate than baseball wants them to lose at.
Well, it's baseball,
right?
Hockey's the biggest crapshoot because of the goaltending factor, but baseball's a close second because of pitching. I mean, it just is. I mean, we saw this in the pandemic year in 2020. I mean, the Marlins beat the Cubs. It was the best of 3. Marlins, in literally 24 hours, the Marlins outpitched them.
I mean, think about it. If they added one more team, and they were like football, where 7 get in and only one team gets the bye, it's not the advantage that it is in football.
No. In fact, it's seen.
It could be a disadvantage.
Right. Although I got to be honest. Like, I think it's a disadvantage. You start getting the teams that have had 7, 8, 10-day layoffs, like they sweep the LCS and the other series goes 7. And then they don't start the World Series to a certain day for television. Like the Rockies in 2007 were on a roll. Went 20-1 to finish the regular season, made the playoffs. It steamrolled the National League. And then the Red Sox and then Indians went 7. And by the time the Rockies played in the World Series, they'd been off 9 days. Well, I mean, that seems like a problem. But I mean, 3 to 5 days, we could play a couple simulated games. I mean, when you grind it for 6 months, I don't think a couple days off is the worst thing in the world.
I know we don't, but they do.
I know.
And that's why I think we're getting to 8 sooner, because I do think the 1s and 2s, when you see them start losing, although the reseeding's got to happen first, because it's obscene.
And I think it will. But I think it'll go to 8 when we get to 32. Final day of the regular season today. Virtually no drama at all. A couple of individual things, that's it. A chance some people may be playing. Like, is Miguel Cabrera playing his last game today and we don't know it? And does he not know it? I mean, the Tigers may just release him. They'll have to pay him for a year, but they may just move on. And will somebody pick him up? Things like that.
As Canada Relief does point out, you got Cabrera with the 3,000 hits, Pujols with the 700, Judge with the 62. Baseball's had a pretty good year.
Well, and some teams making the playoffs had made it in a while. Phillies in 11 years, Mariners in 21? It was either 2000 or 01 last time the Mariners made the playoffs. So, like, if you're a Mariners fan, you don't get a home game right now unless you make it to the second round. You okay with that? You're in the playoffs. You're going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You're going to be watching playoff games.
I don't know. I still think the way these guys travel, I do find it a bit ridiculous to say you can't get on a plane, play the next night in another city. They're flying private chartered planes. This is not 1975 where they had to wait and fly commercial. For the life of me, and I'm with what we pay these guys, they really can't get on a plane, fly cross country, and play a game the next day. They really can't do that.
Well, also the pitchers are already in their hotel rooms on the road. I mean, next day starting pitcher is not sitting in the dugout hanging with the team and flying with the team. I mean, they've already been flown ahead. They're chilling. They're getting a massage at a Four Seasons.
Sounds good. Expensive, but it sounds good.
Yeah, but when you're putting it on, the team's
no, I know.
bankroll. By the way, do you do the pool before the massage or after?
Steam before the massage.
I don't know if they have steam or not.
Get me at that Hyatt down the road for a massage in that room. Oh my goodness. I might go steam and sauna, David. I might go crazy.
You know, DC in our Twitch chat room, I think you're right. I think we had a Rays versus Jays wager. And I'm like David Sampson. I just bet the Rays all the time. So I lost this year. They faded down the stretch. They were tied. Like 2 weeks ago, they were tied. Rays have gone 4-11 since.
And Tampa, I pointed this out when we were talking about them trying to catch the Yankees when it was eerily close at one point. The Tampa schedule down the stretch was tough with a bunch of games. Toronto, and they just got their butts kicked by Toronto.
And they had to play Houston, and yeah. But listen, it's a cliche, but it's true. Friday, everybody's 0-0, baby. It would not shock me at all if the Mets lose to the Padres. I think the Mets lost the season series to the Padres, and Darvish owns them. And he's going to start game 1.
Well, the Padres, for making the playoffs, have underachieved this year. They went through their funk, though, in July and early August. They've kind of righted the ship in the last quarter of the season.
By the way, I mean, if you're the Dodgers, you could face the Mets have won 100 games. They could win 101 later today. I mean, your reward for having the best record in baseball, one of the 10 best records ever, by the way. And your rewards to get a 100-plus win team, well, in theory, the Braves could get what? The 87-win Phillies? Yeah, this reseeding thing could happen quickly. Quickly. Dodgers face the 4th best team in baseball?
It would have happened faster if the Yankees would have had a better record than the Astros. And if you'd have had the Dodgers on one side and the Yankees on the other, then that may have even sped this up even more quickly if there were some upsets in the first round in the 3-6 matchups.
So final day of the baseball season, and those are the matchups. Playoffs start on Friday, and Major League Baseball desperately trying not to have games on Sunday, hoping for a bunch of sweeps, bunch of 2-0s, so they don't have to play on Sunday and suffer the ratings debacle that it'll be going head-to-head with the National Football League. Meanwhile, it would seem to me if you end the season on a Sunday, everybody has Monday off, you could play this thing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday if necessary. And then, yeah, you could be going up against the NFL, but you're going up against the NFL on streaming. And you're playing a deciding game, a winner-go-home game. Those games do pretty well.
Any sport.
Yes. We like games with consequences. Somebody getting eliminated, we watch.
And I think baseball not even having the guts to take on Thursday night streaming football, that's a concession I wouldn't have made if I was running Major League Baseball.
No.
I get avoiding Sundays. I would avoid Sundays.
Yeah, I know. But instead, they could be playing deciding games going up against the NFL. It's ridiculous. It really is. Who's running that sport? It's kind of like racing on Sundays in the fall. Had this great season. 37 different winners. Bunch of excitement. Got guys yelling at each other, fighting with each other. Guys leaving teams in the middle of the season and saying, oh, no, I'll stay if you want. And instead, it's the playoffs. Oh, it's Sundays in the fall? Oh, I'm out.
Even the Live Tour was smart enough to leave the continent during football season.
Right. Thanks so much for listening. The bonus hour is next. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, Only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Don't miss the Miami Dolphins watch party every Sunday at the Seaside Bar and Grill in Bonita Springs. Presented by Clutch Vodka. The Seaside will be serving Clutch Vodka drinks, including the awesome Bloody Mary bar at the Seaside. If you can't be at Hard Rock Stadium, come have fun at the best place in town to watch the Dolphins and enjoy the best, clean, crisp, smoothest vodka. That's Clutch with a K. Miami Dolphins parties every week at the Seaside Bar and Grill on Old 41 in Bonita Springs. Powered by Clutch Vodka.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I did not know. That's awesome. So Hartford has a tier 2 soccer team.
Mm-hmm.
That same thing. I think that Raleigh and Pittsburgh and those things are in. Whale City Football Club. The logo's bad. I want a Whale City t-shirt. It's my new favorite team. Oh, they're Hartford Athletic. Okay, this is just a fan site. Oh, God. I thought that would have been awesome.
Yeah, I was
you
watching
fat.
that. Steve Ho You Fat. He's 34 years old.
Where was he playing?
He plays for
I don't even know who these teams are.
I saw a tweet where it was like Pat Riley after
It's
last
Met
season.
versus GLI. It's some sort of G League game. I don't know who that is.
Pat Riley to Kyle Lowry after last season.
Oh, you
It's
fat.
just a picture of his jersey.
That's funny.
Oh, you fat. But yeah,
You gonna play it?
that game was on the deuce.
Oh, I wasn't.
See, replace He Hate Me.
Oh, people are all over DeSantis because he was wearing shrimper boots? Got the shrimp or white boots on. That's funny.
Yeah, Boulogne Laval Lewis Metropolitans 92. That's the name of the team. It's like some French team. There's about to be the ugliest tanking maybe in NBA history this year.
For that 7-4 guy?
Oh my gosh, yes. He had seven threes and 5 blocks. That's only been done once in NBA history.
Yeah. Now, last night was not the NBA.
Right.
Okay. I mean,
right. That is true. It was
a whole bunch of guys who will never play in the NBA.
Look what someone did with the Santos' boots. Oh, dang it. That's funny.
coming back.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
The bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on this Wednesday. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some final thoughts, all coming up in roughly 40 minutes' time. UCF in action tonight.
SMU in town.
That's right. Makeup game. Did you hear what's going on with SMU? So they've played 4 games. That's the cutoff. You play in a 5th game, you lose the season of eligibility. The word is whole bunch of key SMU guys are done. They've said, nah, we're going to take the rest of the year off. We're going to transfer and not lose a year of eligibility.
Oh, boy.
Now, here's the problem. I don't know who the players are. I just saw a story 2-3 days ago in which they said this is what's rumored to be going on within the SMU program. Now, this is, once again, you and I, and we said it when this was possible a couple years ago. We said, listen, we're in favor of the athletes getting this kind of mobility to a large degree. All right. And we know it's going to be messy. It could be ugly. It could be unseemly. It could cause some people who are fans of football and basketball to go, I don't know if I like college football and college basketball anymore. This is this, SMU lost a game or two, right? They're not 4-0. They lost to TCU decisively. And so these guys just decided, well, we're not,
And this is SMU. What happens if Purdue, a Power 5 school, doesn't like the way things are going and kids decide they're going to, because no one really cares in the grand scheme of things about Southern Methodist University.
I get it, but
no. I'm not at all coming at you. I want the listener here to just take a quick pause and say, okay,
right.
What if
a week ago, think about it, Georgia Tech had fired their coach.
Right.
All right. What if and now they fired Paul Christ after 5 games. So those kids, if they've played in them, they lose their year of eligibility. But what happens if you're out of school and they decide 3-4 weeks in to fire the coach? And that's the guy who recruited you. It's the reason you're there. And you just decide, well, hell, I'm done. Not losing a year of eligibility for this joke of a season. I'll finish up my studies and I'll transfer.
That's ugly. I don't, and you know I'm all for transferring.
Yep.
But this is kind of gaming the system.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Listen, Nick Saban, and there's a lot of what Nick says that I think he's just full of blank. I really do. But Nick said it a few years ago in which he said, listen, I'm not in favor of this. And just so you know, we will win. Okay, whatever system you come up with, we will win. Because people are going to want to play here. And sure enough, what's Nick done the last couple of years?
Plops
I need a
starter here.
I need a tackle. Yep. I need a running back. I need a corner. I need a wide receiver.
And we're not in the 70s and 80s and 90s where all of these kids have not been playing football against and with one another since the 7th and 8th grade in camps.
Yeah.
The way these young athletes are connected with one another is like never before.
Right. They're all talking. By the way, what do you get there for your NIL? Well, I get this and I get this. So-and-so's getting this. Really? Yeah. So I'll be curious if it plays out tonight because I have not heard anything. Remember, this game was originally scheduled for late last week. It's been pushed back to today. I have not heard who the specific players are, but we'll be very curious at the start of the game if the announcers are saying, well, the depth chart just got thrown into a tizzy and they rattle off 5-6 guys who aren't playing for SMU. I have to admit, I'd love to get a little more information. Might cause me to bet it.
Well, that's where I was. And I was just trying to get, I think it's a 3-point UCF line, right?
It hasn't really moved either. But that was late Friday night. I'm sitting in my hotel room in Arkansas, and I'm reading about this going, wow, this is a bad look. But, hey, they can do it. Coaches can get up and leave. Even when they got 8-year contracts, they can get up and go somewhere else. You don't think students can game the system and go, no, it's not working for me here? Didn't, Derek King and a couple of guys at Houston a couple of years ago did it. Remember? They were going to have this great season. Everybody came back. Instead, they lose like 2 of their first 3 games. They all looked at one another and said, I'm done. I ain't playing anymore. I'm not losing a year of eligibility for this.
I think you will see the NCAA try to change the 4 games to 1 game. 2 games. Well, come on. They only do things that benefit themselves, David.
I understand. But the funny thing was the coaches actually advocated for this because what they wanted was late in the year when they have some numbers problems, they wanted to be able to fill out the roster, play some guys. The bonus of getting guys just a little bit of experience. Because like in college hoops, you can do it. I think the number is 3. You can play 3 games. And a lot of times what coaches do is they will play guys the first 3 games of the year. And then they will sit them down and they will go, just so you know, there's not going to be a lot of minutes for you. I mean, if you want, we could burn one of your years of eligibility.
And you can get junk time and play at the end of games if we're beating someone badly or if we're getting beat badly, you'll get your minutes. But
or you can redshirt this year and not lose a year. And then next year, when you're really ready to play, you'll still have an extra year of eligibility.
When I was a kid and used to go to Michigan State games with my grandfather, I'm pretty sure the Big Ten had a rule back then that it was not, you didn't, if you played in conference play, you weren't eligible. So you'd get a lot of guys that would play just that in the first 3 non-con games. And then now they've increased that to 4. I know the reason the coaches like it, but once it starts backfiring on the coaches, they'll be quick to turn the way they feel about it.
You know, coaches talk about late in the year with injuries, also bowl games, even how sometimes their rosters are just completely decimated by the end of the year. Never mind kids who've already raised their hand and said, I'm out of here. And so they wanted to be able to, hey, can we play them? Because, I mean, you know, a generation ago, if the guy stepped on the field, that was the year. And so now coaches were able to get it now where it's as much as, I mean, it's as much as a third of a season.
Right.
That you can play.
It's too much, by the way. I'm sorry. I think that's too much.
I agree.
I think anything over 2 games is too much.
Would be okay with that.
Because then you have the medical red. Because so someone who's saying, what if he gets hurt? No, that's a medical red shirt. That's a totally different thing.
Right.
That's a case-by-case basis in which more times than not, they grant the athlete the extra year of eligibility. It happens. There are times, and you can all find one where they have not. But more times than not, when it comes to an injury, they give that player the medical red shirt.
But the only situation nowadays where the athlete is not getting rubber stamped, hey, you get your eligibility back, et cetera, is if there is some kind of academic situation. I mean, God forbid somebody in the admissions department submits the wrong paperwork. You're going to lose half a season. I mean, there are people who have been ruled ineligible for the football season that we're going through and the upcoming basketball season for just stuff that's laughable. When Bryce Young reportedly is making like $3 million this year.
It's good NIL right there.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he should be. He's doing the Nissan ad. He's doing the Dr. Pepper ad.
Yeah, right.
Which both are great, by the way. For the record, both are tremendous.
I'd be curious, by the way, how long he's out. Because we're not going to get the truth from Alabama. The whole day-to-day thing, I'm not buying that at all. Not buying it at all. You don't think Nick's as forthcoming with injury information as Belichick is. So, and with his starting quarterback, please. So I'll be curious. I don't think he's going to play this week. But most people think they can beat A&M with their backup quarterback. And maybe even cover a big line against A&M with their backup quarterback. But can they go to Knoxville and beat Tennessee with their backup quarterback, who's a runner, not a thrower?
Tennessee going to have that receiver back, or is he done for the year?
I'm not sure. I think he's out. But just saying, if he's not, the throw, and I mean, obviously he's not going to be the thrower that Bryce Young is. That's, we haven't had this. When's the last time we had one of the 2-3 elite teams in the country? Okay. And their star quarterback goes down. And you're replacing, this isn't replacing Hurts with Tua here. I mean, this kid's a prospect and highly thought of and all that, but I mean, he hadn't played. No, he played 2 quarters against Arkansas. Looked okay. He can run. Boy, can he run. But so anyway, UCF SMU tonight. All right. Believe it or not, the first 5 minutes of the broadcast might be worth watching. Find out whether or not this whole SMU thing is really happening, or whether or not some guys got some bad information.
Hey, let me get a little bit of news out here at you.
Okay.
John, our buddy from Napa, texted me again. We did it yesterday. He's still got generators left if you're looking. But more importantly, that they are today at their Boy Scout location in Fort Myers going to be serving food outside the store for people who are in need. So if you're looking for a meal and need one, Boy Scout, the Napa store, their store in North Fort Myers is open. Their stores in Punta Gorda and on Palm Beach are open. They did lose 2 of their stores, as John told me. So it's been a tough week for our friends, John and his family and the Napa family. But in the midst of that, they're serving hot meals today, or they're serving meals today. I can't say hot meals. They're serving food today for anybody that needs it at their store on Boy Scout, and they still have generators there if you need one. So for those of you living in Cape Coral, that for the most part in Lee County, that's probably the worst of it as far as power goes. So there's an opportunity there if you are still looking for a generator.
It is remarkable, the human spirit, even those who have suffered such loss, and yet they still want to do for others.
I mean, Barry, one of our listeners, took care of me with the generator. His house got destroyed, and he was at my house hooking up a generator yesterday. That shows you what Southwest Florida is about, everybody. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Don't miss the Miami Dolphins watch party every Sunday at the Seaside Bar and Grill in Bonita Springs. Presented by Clutch Vodka. The Seaside will be serving Clutch Vodka drinks, including the awesome Bloody Mary bar at the Seaside. If you can't be at Hard Rock Stadium, come have fun at the best place in town to watch the Dolphins and enjoy the best, clean, crisp, smoothest vodka. That's Clutch with a K. Miami Dolphins parties every week at the Seaside Bar and Grill on Old 41 in Bonita Springs, powered by Clutch Vodka.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Clay Travis just tweeted out, just because I saw this earlier too. DeSantis opened an 11-point lead in his bid for re-election.
Oh, that's not a race.
Right. If he wins by 11, it'd be the biggest Republican win in a state right in modern Florida history. I mean, he did win by a point last time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see this picture of the neighborhood? All those houses got pushed there. It's about Mid-Island, Fort Myers Beach.
That would seem to not be good.
Ryan, that's a great question. I ran into Craig Brush the other day, and I didn't ask him that. They were still in. I would imagine that everything next month that hurts is going to be still on.
Well,
because they're ready to start hockey.
Yeah, the Blades sent out a thing. I think the preseason games might be canceled, but the season opener at the end of October is still on.
I'll tell you what, it'd be interesting to see all the acts coming through if they're going to
donate some money.
Probably pressured pretty hard.
The acts or the building?
The acts. Well, the building won't care. Craig's never cared about. I mean, unless Hoffman changes his tune, Craig's never given a shit about donating money. He lets other people donate money and puts his name on it. That's what they've always done.
Gotcha.
I mastered that for them. David does.
I have to admit, have not had it in a very long time.
And I know Felipe does.
I just had down.
There's not a chain that Felipe doesn't like. He's 21.
It's true. I'm not picky. We're coming back.
By the way, did you get your Heat press pass yet?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Poll question, now that Judge has hit 62, what is it? Is it a record? Or is it just the 7th most homers anyone's hit in a season? That Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter, floridasportsnetwork.com, and vote. For the record, Bonds with 73. McGuire hit 70 and Sosa hit 66 in the summer of 98. McGuire followed it up the next year with 65, slacker. Sosa in and around 66 hit 64 and 63. And then you got Judge's 62. I don't expect Judge to play today. He played the doubleheader yesterday, although he was removed mid-game in the second game after hitting his 62nd homer. I just don't think you can run the risk of injury if you're Aaron Boone. I mean, yeah, they're going to have a few days off, and in theory, maybe you play him a little bit, DH him a couple at bats, what have you, but I wouldn't. Like, for instance, and yes, I'm a Mets fan, but late in the season, their starting right fielder, key player for them, got hit by a pitch, broke his middle finger on his right hand. Hasn't played since. Right now, pretty iffy to doubtful to be available for the Padres series. What if Judge gets hit by a pitch? Obviously, it's not going to be intentional. Nobody's going to be throwing at him today. I don't think you can run the risk.
I don't either. The only thing that keeps in my head is that they're not playing
right
for a week, essentially.
Right. Like, in theory, they may not play again until Tuesday.
Right. That's the part that I can't get out of my head, David, that I think, David Sampson yesterday on the show, I think, had it right. I wouldn't play him unless he was just begging to play. And somehow I think after getting 62, I think Judge is going to love a day off today. I really and truly, I think mentally he's really been taxed.
Is this baseball's equivalent of, does the NFL coach play the guys for one quarter or one half in the preseason?
And hey, by the way, it's not just Judge for the Yankees today. There wouldn't be a starter in the lineup.
No. And remember, they don't have the 40-man bench like they used to. I think
know.
It's only 28. But yeah, I'd figure out a way to play just, everybody who's not going to play game one of the division series.
I mean, it would look as much like a minor league team as I could make it.
And make this as much of a spring training game as I could, right?
As much, even if I could jockey the roster more, I'd do it. I wouldn't play anyone. Wouldn't do. I mean, we have every single playoff race decided in the game of baseball right now. I would not take a chance if I were any of these teams.
Judge still has a chance at the Triple Crown. He's 4 points back in the batting race. I will say, if they put him in the lineup, although this is where you get into, I am surprised baseball does not, and they've got some double headers today. And so that's why, they're not doing it. But I think baseball needs to figure out a way so that all the games are happening at the same time.
Oh, so you're going like
and for the
World Cup soccer that last day when they're qualifiers.
And believe it or not, within 15 minutes of each other they are. But the problem is they have a doubleheader in Baltimore. Otherwise, all the games started between 4:05 and 4:20 today. So, like, for instance, the Yankees-Rangers game's at 4:05. And lineups are in usually 3 hours early, but certainly 2 to 2.5 hours early. The Twins are on the south side of Chicago. Don't you think the Twins will be checking to see whether or not Judge is in the lineup?
Yes.
Because in theory, then Judge could catch their guy for the batting title.
I hate the idea of sitting out the guy with the batting title for the last day of the season. I despise it. I know it's done. It's all well and good, but to me, if you're the best hitter on a team and you're not playing in the postseason, you play. This is really simple.
I remember one year a batting title, and this is back in the day, it dates me, but it came down to the final day of the regular season. It was Ken Griffey Sr. and it was Bill Medlock. And meaningless game for both teams except for the batting title. And as I remembered it, Madlock had like 3-4 hits and Griffey went over. And Griffey was 2 points ahead and Madlock won the batting title. And of course, the most famous one is that Ted Williams was hitting 399.5. And so it was like, hey, you don't have to hit. Final day of the regular season, double header. But if you sit it out, you're a 400 hitter. Ted Williams looked at him and said, are you serious? And proceeds to go 6 for 8 in the doubleheader and hit 406. But if you're the Twins and if Judge ain't playing, they ain't going to play a rise.
I know. They should. I get it. I don't like it. It
would be funny if all of a sudden a rise is like 0 for 3. All right. And you start doing the math. Sixth inning, you walk down the dugout and you say to Judge, you
want to pinch hit?
If you get a hit, you might win the batting title. Meanwhile, goodness knows what he did last night. All right. I mean, for all we know, Aaron's parents were there. I'm sure they went out and celebrated. I'm not saying he tied one on or what have you. But, there are a few stories about when guys are told they're not going to play and then all of a sudden they get pressed into action. Boughton told the story about Mickey Mantle, who thought he was still on the DL. And so, surprise, surprise, he went out the night before and tied one on and he's asleep in the dugout. All right. And they nudge him because Stengel was walking down the dugout. Hey, Mick, wake up. Casey's coming. And Casey stands right in front of him. Mick had woken up by then and said, Mantle, you're hitting. And Mickey goes, Case, I'm on the DL. He goes, I took you off at noon. And Mantle goes out there. And so apparently, I think they were playing the Orioles. And one of the guys on the Orioles was out partying with Mantle the night before. Okay, so he sends the word out to the pitcher. He's a mess. Just literally throw it over the plate. Okay, and so the pitcher throws over a plate. Mantle hits it 500 feet, apparently. Legend has it. Mantle rounds the bases, comes in, throws up in the trash can. Sits back down in the dugout, puts his jacket on, and goes back to sleep. I mean, who knows? We could have one of those today for all we know. with
That's
every
fantastic.
playoff berth
That's such a
decided.
good story.
I know. Ball 4s. Ball 4 holds up today.
Well, it holds up more today because the athletes don't party the way they used to. They just don't. They're much more conscious of their body. Aaron Judge celebrated last night by probably having 3 Diet Cokes, for crying out loud.
Right. Maybe
That's not true. He didn't have Diet Coke. He had water with lemon.
Right. Not going to put Diet Coke.
Are you
in your
kidding
body.
me?
Kidding? It's a specimen.
What am I
right
talking
there.
about? John Daly, for crying out loud?
Yeah. Come on now, Mark. Get it together. Maybe the parents had a glass of wine.
Right. Well, he might have had just one.
Maybe. Somebody sent over a drink, I'm sure, to the table.
Well, there you go. Someone else had to buy something for the rich guy. You want me to give him his ball back.
This time at $2 million, you know what? I'm okay with it. It's $2 million.
You're darn right it is.
So no, you can keep the ball.
Aaron Judge wants his ball back. You can have it back. Here, give me $2 million. I'll be happy to give you your ball. It's really easy. If not, it's going to the auction house.
And he's signing a $300 million contract in a month.
Thank you.
Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Our final thoughts all coming up. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening. Florida Sports Network. David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Apparently known as a very unfaithful group of men. They travel all over the country. And I looked at her, I go, what did you think they were? I go, these guys are like pro athletes. They're young guys, they're in shape, and they're coming to a town, single or married. I go, yeah. I would think that would be a very unfaithful.
Right. They're staying in hotel rooms. And they're staying in hotel rooms.
Right.
And basically, they've got expense accounts.
Yeah. Fucking my mom's next door neighbor. She's a great lady. She's about the same age as me. 2 kids. She's remarried. Her husband went to jail for DUI. And when they cracked down, the guy died. He went to jail for like 14 years. Went to prison, or 12 years or something. But her 2 sons, one was good friends with Jake when he was up there. They're both linemen. The other one, it was Wednesday, the day of the hurricane, died in an accident in the bucket.
Oh, damn.
29, 2 kids.
Jeez. Felipe, you really, and I know you don't feel well, but you really could. I mean, you could get a credential. You could at least get. I don't think the Heat would give you a season credential.
I do.
Okay, and I don't, but I do think the Heat would let you apply game by game.
But you have to understand, when you go to those games, you can't be a fan and cheer and yell. You have to sit there and be a reporter.
Right. You can't wear a Heat jersey.
We're capable of doing that.
Okay.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't know if you are yet, and I'm not being a jerk. You're young and you're a huge fan, and it's not easy. When I was younger in the business, I was working for teams, so I was allowed to be a fan of who was paying me.
I could sit in silence and observe.
Whoa. 45 minutes ago, Hardwig retweeted whoever James Corrigan is, golf correspondent for the Daily Telegraph, exclusive live golfer to earn world ranking points.
Oh.
And it's I got to pay to read it, so I can't even read the damn thing. You bastards.
That's a game changer.
Damn right it is. Oh, I got to probably get some good, bad, and ugly stories. Son of a bitch.
You guys see I don't know if you talked about it, but the guy that fell for the Judge home run, that he fell down the wall.
Yeah. They didn't prosecute him or anything, but they escorted him out.
Two sides to every story. One person's a millionaire, the other person gets kicked out.
That's a good one.
Ten seconds.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. So, I guess we have some breaking news.
Yeah, this is a little bit breaking. The Telegraph in the UK is reporting that live golfers are going to be earning world golf ranking points.
Huh. Seems to be a game changer. James Corrigan with the story. You have to pay for it.
And we didn't.
No, we got the highlights. But LIV is expecting their event this week in Bangkok to deliver world ranking points for the first time. And that allows players a pathway to either stay qualified or qualify for the majors.
That's a huge game changer for live golf.
I got to be honest. Why would you not do it retroactively? Nothing about their tournaments have changed. You guys are just getting around to resolving this now. I mean, the two events they have before the season end are at Trump Doral at the very end of this month. I mean, the two overseas are 54-hole events. just like the other
Right.
5 that they've played. Why can't you retroactively give them points for how they fared in those tournaments?
According to the Telegraph, Live golfers will earn world ranking points in this event after a strategic alliance was brokered between the Live Tour and the MENA Tour based in Dubai. They've been an established member of the official World Golf Rankings since 2016. They stage events in the Middle East and North Africa. This is how the Live Golf Tour will get access to world ranking points.
Well, I thought they had already staged some sort of alliance with one of the Asian tours.
I did as well. I'm getting this for the first time. So this doesn't interfere with any of their, expansion. It will result in Live Golf members having access to compete on the MENA Tour, which comprises around 15 events per year.
By the way, do you know who broke the news first?
Koepka's wife.
Jenna Sims. That's fantastic.
That is outstanding.
So, Patrick Reed has dropped out of the top 50 for the first time in 8 years because he hasn't played in a PGA Tour event in a while. So that's one thing that I'm curious as to why they wouldn't get retroactive points. And I know that they can state all bunch of reasons. Well, we just resolve this now and, the alliance now. But, literally nothing about the tour has changed. Why shouldn't they get credit for the 5 events they played? And I'll be curious. I can't imagine, nor should they, I don't believe. Do you think, even though, the tour they've put together now has got some pretty impressive fields, and next year, the 48 guys are the 48 guys. There's no moving around. So the field 1 week is the same as, in theory, week 7. But, would you give them the same points you give a PGA Tour event?
No, there's no cuts and they're playing 54 holes. They would not get the same points the PGA event.
Right. And you and I are both open to the idea of the LIV series, but I wouldn't give them full points either.
No. Whatever they come up with.
Now, I will say there are times like the John Deere field nowadays. The John Deere field is not good. Now, yeah, I know it's 72 holes and there's a cut, but
they're going to have that every PGA Tour event with this new aligned tour of the big boy events and then play these non-big boy events, whatever they're going to call them, David. If I were Live Golf, I would be campaigning for them to reduce world. And I would be, how are you giving them full points for this event when our events going on and our golfers are clearly better?
Well, yeah. You could quote top 50 rankings, top 100 rankings and go,
majors, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we've got far better field this week than they have. Yeah, they've got, 3 times as many golfers and they play 25% more holes. And yes, there's a cut. But I don't know what to tell you. It's not
awarding the winner of this tournament the same as you're awarding the winner of Bay Hill is not right. That's what I would be arguing.
So it'll be interesting to see how they do it. But apparently, that's a huge win, by the way. And to me, also that negates, I believe, I don't know how the majors can then bar LIV golfers. The World Golf Rankings are legitimizing your tour. Then I don't see how the majors can bar guys on that tour from playing in their event.
With you 100%. This will be interesting just to see how these World Golf Rankings play out.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We'll start in 1915 today when Ty Cobb steals his 96th base of the season. It would stand as a Major League Baseball record until 1962. Today in 1921, Grantland Rice does play-by-play as the New York Giants and the New York Yankees Baseball World Series is broadcast for the first time over radio. He is not at the game, but in the studio reading updates received by telegraph.
What is this, MASH?
For those that remember the episode, David, they're smiling right now because Charles is going to take a bath. 1922, the Yankees and Giants play to a 3-3 tie in 10 innings in Game 2 of the World Series. That's right, a 3-3 tie in Game 2 of the World Series.
See? And the world and the sport continued to rotate on its axis and do just fine.
The Giants would eventually win the series 4-0-1. Today in 1925, the great WSM in Nashville begins radio transmissions. Today in 1932, it all began, David. New ownership. The Detroit Falcons changed their name to the Detroit Red Wings. The winged wheel is introduced, and the Falcons are no more. I don't know if I could have rooted for the Detroit Falcons. I don't even like that name. Now, before that, they were the Cougars. That's something we can all get behind.
Cougars, Falcons, Red Wings?
Yeah.
Boy.
Today in 1945, we all know where David was. He was tuned into his radio as Meet the Press premieres on radio.
Damn right.
You may have to help me if you know this one, because Brooklyn outfielder Al Gianfrido makes the catch on DiMaggio in Game 6 of baseball's World Series today in 47. The Dodgers would beat the Yankees. It inspires the back-to-back-to-back expression.
Also, it's the one time that DiMaggio showed emotion on the field. If you ever see the clip where DiMaggio's about halfway between first and second, and while in stride, he kicks the dirt while galloping.
Today in 49, it was revealed that Bobby Jones rare spinal disease, which would prevent him from playing golf again. You know, the Celtics are a great franchise. I don't want to take anything away from them, but are they the luckiest franchise in the world too? Because it started, I think, maybe in 1950, when owner Walter Brown and coach Red Auerbach draw lots out of a hat for 3 members of the defunct Chicago Stags franchise. They get Bob Cousy.
It turned out pretty well.
Today in 62, Dr. No, the first Bond film based on the novel by Ian Fleming and starring Sean Connery, premieres in London. Today in 1969 on BBC, Monty Python's Flying Circus begins airing.
Unbelievable.
You know, you look at that and Laugh-In and the Smothers Brothers and what was on television in the late 60s and early 70s. We still don't have stuff like that on now.
No, networks aren't that bold.
1970, both baseball championship series end on the same day with the same score. The Orioles defeat the Twins 3-0 and the Reds beat the Pirates 3-0. The Orioles would eventually win the World Series.
That was the Brooks Robinson World Series.
PBS became a U.S. television network today in 1970 as well. 1973, Elton John releases Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. The 76 expansion draft was today as the Mariners and Blue Jays picked 30 bad players from teams.
How many years later? 46. They'll meet in the playoffs.
Eric Dickerson, 42-yard touchdown as the LA Rams beat the Bucks 26-20 today in 1986 in an overtime win. Fresno State today in 1991 set an NCAA record with 49 points in the second quarter. They would beat New Mexico 94-17.
Man, more points in the second quarter than in the other 3 combined.
In 94, the NBA shortened their three-point distance to help players score more. Michael Jordan would set career highs in three-point attempts and converted three-point field goals.
They did that? They shortened it?
Well, think about it. All right. Although it was before you were born, but we were just coming out of the Pistons and the Knicks slowing the league down to a level in which they're like, we got to increase scoring. Don't worry, it didn't work. Okay, as a whole, because you could take a look at the scores, the Utah-Chicago finals in 97 and 98. Take a look at the scores of those games. I mean, games in the mid-80s, low 80s. It's unbelievable how slow the game got.
Hell, the Jazz scored 57 in one of those games.
2001, Barry hits 71 and 72. You know, he's the home run record holder.
I thought it was Aaron Judge.
And the Braves become the first pro sports team to win 10 straight division titles. The Celtics and Lakers had both won 9 in a row.
They caught a break because they weren't going to win it in 94. So the streak goes, 91 through 01, which is 11 years, but they won 10 titles because there were no titles in 94.
Those born today that are no longer with us: Chester A. Arthur, our 21st president; Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's; Bill Wirtz, the former owner of the Blackhawks; and comedian Bernie Mac. Those that are celebrating birthdays today: Barry Switzer, Bob Geldof, Laura Davies, Mario Lemieux, Patty Waugh, Rex Chapman, and Grant Hill.
Man, Grant Hill was good.
Yes, he was till he got hurt. So Lemieux and Waugh have the same birthday?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Same year, too. I mean, they're the same age.
Truman delivered the first ever presidential speech on television today in 47. So 75 years ago. First time a president ever went to TV for a speech. And Steve Jobs died 11 years ago today.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
The good today, and I'll do this probably all week, Cape Coral. At the Publix on Santa Barbara and Cape Coral, free meals, food trucks from Miami lined up. 2 meatballs in a kitchen in Cape Coral, the Cape Coral location, giving away free food while supplies last. Mount Hermon Church on Douglas Avenue in Fort Myers, beginning at 2 today. The School District of Lee County is distributing food today from 12:30 to 2:30 at the school district offices on Colonial. And the Daniels Road Baptist Church from 5 to 7 is giving out water, food, tarps, diapers, and cleaning supplies. I know more are. That's just a quick list for you. NBC2 has done a terrific job of listing these. So if you have access to internet, if you're looking for a free meal, if you're looking for a shower, if you're looking for something, that would be my go-to spot right now.
11:30 to 2:30 on 41 in San Carlos, the San Carlos Plaza Shopping Center. All right. Equipment Share Company. They're providing meals and supplies to those in need.
For the bad, we go to California, where Riverside County Animal Services had to remove an unwanted critter from the bathroom stall at a school. It was a coyote. Now, we may have to worry about gators and snakes and things like that. I don't know what I'd do if I walked in to use the facilities and there was a coyote in the stall.
How much longer are you going to be?
And for the ugly, we go to India Atlantic, Florida. Never even heard of this
Can
city.
you pound on the stall after about 30 seconds? Come on.
The mayor of Indian Atlantic is accused of using a rake to hit a man in the face while participating in park cleanup for Hurricane Ian. David Berkman, 59 years old, was arrested and faces a misdemeanor battery charge. According to the affidavit, he was helping clear Orlando Park when a victim began recording him on a cell phone. The victim said he began recording the mayor after Berkman made several comments about kicking his ass. Then the mayor used the rake to hit the man in the face and knock his phone out. Don't know when re-election is, but I'm sure this will cost him. Maybe not the election, but just a few votes. It did earn the good, the bad, and the ugly today, October 5th, 2022.
College football, ESPN 2 at 7 o'clock tonight. UCF, a 2.5-point favorite against SMU. ESPN 2 at 7. Final day of the baseball regular season. Everyone's playing at 4 o'clock, except for Toronto and Baltimore. They have to play a doubleheader, so the first game's actually at 12:30. There you have it. Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for listening. We'll do it again tomorrow here on the Florida Sports Network. David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back.